Chapter 67. She's already here? Princess Lan Yu felt the situation was a little grim. Young Master Long Quan completely ignored Princess Lan Yu and Xing Hui. His eyes glowed like a hungry ghost. Good. I can't wait to have a taste of that little girl. Junior brother Long Quan. I've already said that Miss Wu is junior brother Xing Hui's friend. Please spare Miss Wu. Princess Lan Yu said unhappily. Haha. What does his friend have to do with me? If you can get senior sister Nalan to intercede, I will let her go without hesitation. But you can't get senior sister Nalan to come forward? Why should I give face to someone I don't know? You were the one who kidnapped Miss Wu. Have you asked for Miss Wu's opinion? Moreover, even if we send a message to senior sister Nalan, she will need time to rush over from the Hunyuan heaven sect. Therefore, during this time, please ensure her safety. When did I, young Master Long Quan, have the right to tell me what to do? Young Master Long Chuan's expression hardened as he looked at Princess Lan Yu. A moment later, he seemed to think of something, and his eyes flashed with desire. It's not impossible for me to wait for senior sister Nalan, but I can't determine whether what you said is true or false. What if you use the excuse of inviting senior sister Nalan to delay it for 10 days, and cause me to miss the wedding in 3 days? Won't I become a joke? How about this? Since this person called Ching Su says he's a relative of senior sister Nalan, let him go invite senior sister Nalan. As for you, stay in my estate. That way, even if that kid really does ruin my plans, I'll be able to find someone to reason with, right? I'll stay in your residence. Princess Lan Yu's expression changed. She was only in the early stage of the awakening realm, while young Master Long Chuan's mansion was filled with experts. The old man in front of her, Yang Zhong, was an expert in the second stage of the true Qi realm. Once young Master Long Chuan's lust was aroused, and he wanted to do something rude, how could she resist? Even if Fairy Baiyu helped him settle his affairs, she wouldn't even have a place to reason with him. I can't stay. Then there's no other way. Hurry up. I want to see that little girl in the bedroom in half an hour. Young Master Long Chuan's last words were naturally directed at that guard. You. All right, Princess Bluefeather, you've done your best. Let me do the rest. At this moment, Xing Hui spoke. You're here? Xing Hui, if that person isn't that important, why don't you? Princess Lan Yu clearly wanted to persuade Xing Hui to give up on Wu Yu Yao. But Xing Hui shook his head. Clang. Without any warning, the sword light pierced through the air. He drew his sword. Xing Hui attacked without any warning. When the sword struck out, the sharp sword chi of the Tier 3 superior divine weapon, the green firmament sword suddenly surged. With a flash of cold light, it pierced towards young Master Long Quan with a piercing sharpness. The sudden sword instantly stunned the furious Princess Bluefeather and the smug young Master Long Quan. They were unable to react. However, although the two of them were in the awakening realm, it did not mean that Yang Zhong, who was in the true energy realm, was the same. Although Yang Zhong did not take Xing Hui too seriously, because he was only in the awakening realm, his vigilance as a true energy realm expert allowed him to maintain sufficient vigilance. The moment Xing Hui unsheathed his sword, he quickly came to his senses and shouted, "Young master, be careful." The next moment, the true energy in his body erupted. Like an antelope hanging its horn, he struck out horizontally. With a mighty wave of qi, it slammed towards Xing Hui like a tsunami and landed heavily on the green firmament sword's blade. However, when his true energy landed on the green firmament sword, he suddenly sensed something. His expression changed. Tier 3 divine weapon? Not good. Buzz. His true energy collapsed. Sword qi burst forth. As the green firmament sword in Xing Hui's hand trembled slightly, Yang Zhong's true energy that landed on the sword quickly dissipated. Then, the green firmament sword qi erupted and launched a surprise attack. Even though Yang Zhong quickly retreated, his palm was still pierced by the sword's blade, causing blood to spurt out. Impudent, swish. Xing Hui took a step forward and brazenly chased after him. From the beginning, his real target was not young Master Long Quan. Young Master Long Quan was just an awakening realm expert who was piled up with medicine. All his attributes probably did not exceed 12. He was not worth mentioning at all. There was only one enemy who was a real threat to him, and that was the middle-stage True Energy Realm old man, Yang Zhong. His sword seemed to be stabbing towards young Master Long Quan. But his real goal was to lure Yang Zhong to attack, and even kill this middle-stage True Energy Realm expert with a single sword strike. Piercing Yang Zhong's palm with his sword was only the beginning. As he leapt up, his powerful physique granted him a shocking speed as he thrust his sword forward. It seemed that in the next second, his sword would be able to pierce through the head of this true Qi realm expert with a single strike. 8 Styles of Hidden Dragon. At the moment of life and death, Yang Zhong let out a low roar. The true energy in his body erupted like a volcano. He actually sent out 8 palms in an instant, forcefully shaking off Tsing Hui's sure-kill sword strike. The sword Qi contained in the sword was completely dispersed, dragging coiling mountains and rivers. At the same time his body trembled. A soft sword was suddenly pulled out from his waist, releasing a biting cold light. It was like a poisonous snake that completely wrapped around the green firmament sword. It was actually a second-level high-grade divine weapon. But Yang Zhong's counterattack was only this. Blocking Tsing Hui's sure-kill sword strike was already the limit of what Yang Zhong could do. As Tsing Hui's essence, Qi and spirit boiled, the brilliant sword intent that evolved into a huge sun in his mind brazenly erupted. The green firmament sword's body shot out from his space and instantly pierced through Yang Zhong's head. Flying sword. Yang Zhong's eyes widened as he spat out the last 2 words with difficulty. He fell to the ground and died. All of this seemed slow, but in reality, it happened in a flash. Not to mention ordinary people, even Princess Lan Yu and young Master Long Quan, the 2 awakening realm experts, did not react to this sudden change. It was only when Yang Zhong was shot to death, and Tsing Hui controlled the flying sword to return to its scabbard that Princess Lan Yu screamed, "Tsing Hui, what are you doing?" This scream also woke up the shocked young Master Long Quan. For a moment, he could no longer care about the pride of being in his arms. He screamed in fear, "Assassin! Assassin! There's an assassin!" Buzz buzz! Tsing Hui's sword trembled as sword Qi shot out. The green firmament sword Qi instantly cut off one of young Master Long Quan's arms, causing blood to splatter into the air. Young Master Long Quan, who had always been pampered, had never suffered such pain before. He let out a miserable scream. "Shut up. If you scream again, I'll take your left hand," Tsing Hui said coldly. However, young Master Long Quan's consciousness was almost completely drowned by the pain of losing an arm. He could not hear Tsing Hui shout clearly, and his screams continued to ring in his ears. Seeing this, Tsing Hui's expression did not change, but the green firmament sword in his hand had already stabbed out again. At this moment, Princess Lan Yu suddenly pushed him and shouted in disbelief, "Junior brother Tsing Hui, are you crazy?" Bang! Sword Qi sputtered. Due to Princess Lan Yu's push, Tsing Hui's sword Qi deviated and shot into the ground behind young Master Long Quan, leaving a sword mark on the ground. The sputtering stone fragments smashed onto young Master Long Quan's body. The force was not great, but it finally woke the screaming young Master Long Quan up. Without hesitation, from the moment Tsing Hui killed Yang Zhong, cut off one of his arms, and then tried to cut off his other arm, there was no hesitation in the entire process. It seemed Tsing Hui in front of him did not put his identity as Fairy Bai Yu's younger brother in his eyes at all. Cutting off his arm, and even taking his life was like killing a cat or a dog. An unprecedented fear surged in his heart, causing the painful screams that almost made him faint involuntarily stopped abruptly. Young Master. Who dares to be so presumptuous in young Master Long Quan's residence? How dare you? At this moment, hearing young Master Long Quan shout, the few awakening realm powerhouses closest to him finally rushed over. 2 of them rushed into the living room at the same time. However, before young Master Long Quan could show joy for the arrival of the 2 awakening realm guards, Tsing Hui's figure had already leaped up to meet the 2 awakening realm powerhouses, who rushed into the living room. The green firmament sword in his hand was filled with sword Qi, accompanied by bloody light. The 2 awakening realm powerhouses who rushed into the living room could not even withstand a single blow, and were beheaded by the green firmament sword Qi. After killing the two Awakening Realm powerhouses with a single strike, Xing Hui slashed the green firmament sword along the threshold in his hand. Stone chips flew everywhere, and a sword mark was instantly formed. Those who cross the line will die. Hiss! The three Awakening Realm powerhouses who followed closely behind saw their two Awakening Realm colleagues killed in a single blow, and then thought of the dense sword chi when Xing Hui attacked just now. They could not help but tremble, and they hurriedly stopped and stood outside the living room. They were so frightened that they did not dare to take a step forward. Yu. When young Master Long Quan saw the three cowering people, he could not help but open his mouth to curse. However, when Xing Hui's gaze swept over, the anger that had just risen in his heart immediately turned cold, as if a bucket of ice water had been poured over him in the dead of winter. Junior brother Xing Hui, you are. Princess Lan Yu was frightened by the scene in front of her, and she was at a loss for what to do. She never thought that Xing Hui would use such a violent method to deal with this matter. Looking at young Master Long Quan, who had lost an arm and was full of fear, she could not help but bitterly say, "You've caused a disaster." Disaster? Xing Hui shook his head. Not to mention that Aunt Naylin will more or less take care of me. Even if Aunt Naylin is forced to stand aside and do nothing, so what? I am an Awakening Realm cultivator, and I have a Stage 3 divine weapon. The world is so big, where can I not go? His sister, Bu, is at most a true disciple of the Hunyuan Heaven sect, who has cultivated qi into aura. She can't cover the sky with one hand. If I go to a country under the jurisdiction of the Shenshao Sword sect, would she have the courage to chase after me? What disaster is there to talk about? This. Princess Lan Yu did not know how to respond to Xing Hui's words. From her standpoint, she was the princess of the Weiqi kingdom. If she caused a disaster, there was nowhere to run. But Xing Hui was different. If Fairy Bu, who supported young Master Long Quan, dared to implicate the Zhou family because of Xing Hui, Naylin Fei would not let it go. Even if the Sky Origin Peak Master mediated, Naylin Fei would at most take a step back and no longer protect Xing Hui. And just as Xing Hui said, he was an Awakening Realm cultivator with a Stage 3 divine weapon. Even if he lost the protection of Naylin Fei, where could he not go in the world? Therefore, the threat of young Master Long Quan's backer was not as great as she had imagined. Xing Hui glanced at Princess Lan Yu, but did not elaborate. With the divine technique, if Bu dared to come alone to avenge Long Quan, he dared to kill her as well. After intimidating the Awakening Realm cultivators, Xing Hui turned his gaze to the pale-faced young Master Long Quan. Now, can we discuss the matter of Wu Yuyao? Chapter 68. Wu Yuyao, you can do whatever you want. I'll order someone to release Wu Yuyao. Don't mess around. As soon as Xing Hui spoke, young Master Long Quan had already retreated in horror and hurriedly promised. Xing Hui glanced at him and said no more. He only said to the frightened servant who had yet to leave, "I need to see Wu Yuyao in half an hour. For every quarter of an hour wasted, I'll cut off one of his limbs." After saying that, he glanced at young Master Long Quan, who was clutching the wound on his broken arm. "Your young master can still let you delay for 3/4 of an hour. Go, get the hell out of here. If you're late by half an hour, I'll take your head." Young Master Longquan's voice was shrill as he roared at the servant. Yes. The terrified servant was so scared that he quickly ran out of the living room and disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. Xing Hui glanced at the several Awakening Realm experts who were gradually gathering outside the door. He did not say anything and just waited. This. Xing Hui. Prince Xing Hui? Can I bandage the wound on my hand first? Young Master Longquan's hand was constantly bleeding. Because he had lost too much, his face had gradually turned pale, and his head was slightly dizzy. Awakening Realm cultivators have strong physiques. A little injury won't kill you. You'd better not act rashly. If you cause a misunderstanding, your left hand will also be taken away from you. Young Master Long Quan was so scared that he trembled and did not dare to say another word. Xing Hui's coldness and fierceness just now was accompanied by an extremely dense cloud of death that lingered above his head, causing him to be shrouded in endless fear at this moment. Damn it! Xing Hui, I'll remember you. After this, I'll definitely let my sister send experts to capture you alive and torture you ruthlessly. I'll make you beg for death. And Wu Yuyao and Lan Yu, those two bitches, just you wait. I swear, when the time comes, you'll regret being born in this world. Young Master Longquan kept cursing in his heart. He had been a playboy in the Eastern Cloud Empire, until now, and had never been humiliated like this. Xing Hui, now that things have escalated to this point, how do you plan to deal with it? Princess Lan Yu looked at Xing Hui and whispered. Only then did she realize that the man in front of her was the one who destroyed the Demon Hunters Union's Lorraine Kingdom branch, without a word, and then destroyed a large sect that had been passed down for hundreds of years. If one thought that he was as honest and harmless as he seemed on the surface, then one would be gravely mistaken. It's all right. You chopped off one of young Master Dragon Spring's arms, so Fairy Jasper will definitely not let the matter rest. You better send a message to Senior Sister Naylin as soon as possible. With Senior Sister Naylin protecting you, I believe Fairy Jasper won't dare to go too far. I'll take care of it. But, calm down. Xing Hui interrupted Princess Bluefeather's unnecessary worries. Seeing this, Princess Bluefeather sighed and said no more. Under the pressure of life and death, the speed of the servants could not be said to be slow. In less than half an hour, a group of people had hurried to the courtyard outside the living room with Wu Yuyao. Among the newly arrived people, there were 3 powerhouses in the Awakening Realm, and the leader was an old man who had reached the peak of the Awakening Realm. He was not much inferior to Wang Jianxian. The 3 powerhouses in the Awakening Realm, and the other 3 powerhouses in the Awakening Realm, who had been waiting outside joined together, making the number of powerhouses in the Awakening Realm reach 6. Including the old man in the lead, it seemed that they had formed a formidable force. Prince Xing Hui, Wu Yuyao, who was originally a little panicked and at a loss, let out a cry of surprise when she saw Xing Hui in the living room. But in the next moment, a divine weapon overflowing with cold light was placed on her pink jade neck. Let go of our young master immediately, or we will kill this little girl. Xing Hui withdrew his gaze from the old man and turned to young Master Dragon Spring. Do you need me to cut off your left hand? You one person for one person. We let Wu Yuyao go, and you have to let me leave here. Young Master Dragon Spring understood that if he wanted to leave alive, it would depend on this. You have the sister of a true disciple of the Hunyuan Heaven sect behind you. Maybe I don't dare to kill you. Why don't you try? I'll give you 3 seconds to consider. 1. I'll go and ask them to let her go. Young Master Dragon Spring stepped forward. He had some confidence in his sister. She was a true disciple of the Hunyuan Heaven sect, backed by the Sky Origin Peak Master. Even the imperial family of the Eastern Cloud Empire had to give his sister face. He did not believe that Xing Hui would really dare to kill him. Using the excuse of letting her go, he seemed to want to bypass Xing Hui and step out of the living room. Swish! But the moment he took a step, the Qingxiao sword in Xing Hui's hand moved again. Sword Qi! A sword Qi burst out from the Qingxiao sword and instantly pierced through young Master Dragon Spring's shoulder, rolling up a burst of blood. Ah! Young Master! Bastard! Do you believe that I won't kill her? Young Master Dragon Spring's scream, and the roars of several powerhouses in the Awakening Realm sounded at the same time. You should be thankful that your left hand didn't leave you. Young Master Dragon Spring's heart was filled with anger. The pain and humiliation made him want to grind Xing Hui's bones to dust and scatter his corpse into thousands of pieces. But in the end, he did not dare to joke around with his life. With Xing Hui's ferocity, if he did not let her go, he might really cut off his left hand. For a moment, he could not care less about his anger and hurriedly shouted, "Let her go, let her go! Boy, you better not play any tricks. Don't think that you're so great just because you're in the Awakening Realm. If you really dare to hurt young Master Dragon Spring again, with Senior Sister Biyu's ability, even if you escape to the ends of the earth, only death will await you." The old man did not dare to force himself. He fiercely threatened Xing Hui and removed the sword from Wu Yuyao's neck. Prince Xing Hui! Wu Yuyao suddenly rushed into the living room and hid behind Xing Hui with a panicked expression. These days of fear made her look even more weak and pitiful at this moment. Princess Lan Yu on the side also understood why Xinghui was angry because of Wu Yuyao. Prince Xinghui, look, we've already sent Miss Wu here, and she hasn't suffered any injuries. Can you allow me to leave first? Over the years, you've relied on that woman Biyu's protection to do a lot of outrageous things. You should have long thought that you would have to pay the price today. Cutting off one of your arms is a crime you deserve. Yes, all of this is what I deserve. From now on, I will abandon evil and turn to good. I will not dare to force others to do anything. Young Master Dragon Spring heard that Xinghui seemed to have the intention to end this, and quickly nodded. He was a fish on the chopping block. The most important thing now was to protect his own life. But in his heart, he gritted his teeth and made up his mind. Once he was sure that he was safe, he would immediately ask his sister to send a large number of true Qi realm experts to capture Xinghui. He swore that he would not be a man if he did not take revenge. Xinghui did not speak. Instead, he looked at young Master Dragon Spring, causing him to tremble with fear and uneasiness. Prince Xinghui, may I leave? Forget it, Xinghui suddenly said. However, just when young Master Dragon Spring thought that forget it meant that Xinghui did not intend to pursue the matter, and wanted to breathe a sigh of relief, Xinghui's next words made him feel cold all over. It's impossible for a person like you to have a heart of repentance. It's useless to persuade you. The best way is to kill you, once and for all. Prince Xinghui, you can't. Princess Lan Yu was shocked and hurriedly stopped him. Senior sister Nalan can still protect you if you chop off one of his arms. But once you really kill him, Fairy Baiyu will definitely go completely mad. Yes. Prince Xinghui, I already have a heart of repentance. Please give me a chance to turn over a new leaf. I guarantee you that from today onwards, I'll definitely abstain from meat and pray to Buddha. I won't dare to do any evil in the slightest. Moreover, I won't allow my sister to look for trouble with you, Prince Xinghui. You have to believe me. Young Master Dragon Spring's face was filled with terror as he hurriedly begged for mercy. He didn't even dare to arouse the ferocious thoughts of revenge. At this moment, he only had one thought left. Live. As for what happened in the future, it was all built on the premise that he lived. Do you think that if I don't kill him, with his character and how much his sister Baiyu dotes on him, he won't take revenge? No, absolutely not. Young Master Dragon Spring was truly afraid. At this moment his heart was filled with regret. How could he have inexplicably offended a madman like Xinghui who didn't care about the consequences? It was just a woman. With his status, there were plenty of women he wanted. Now he only hoped to live. Prince Xinghui, I guarantee that I won't give you any more trouble. I swear to the heavens. Xinghui turned a blind eye to Princess Lan Yu's dissuasion and young Master Dragon Spring's oath. Be a good person in your next life. Swish. The green firmament sword stabbed out. Boom. A layer of energy burst out from young Master Dragon Spring's body. A protective jade talisman. But it was useless. The energy lasted for less than an instant before it collapsed. The sword stabbed out, piercing young Master Dragon Spring's throat and coming out from the back of his neck. The green firmament sword returned to its sheath, bringing out a pool of blood. Young Master Dragon Spring covered the hole in his throat. His eyes were wide open, filled with fear and regret. If he had known that a madman like Xinghui stood behind Wu Yuyao, he wouldn't have put himself in danger, even if he had 10 times the courage. But now it was too late. Darkness quickly swallowed him. Looking at young Master Dragon Spring who was slowly falling backward, Princess Lan Yu opened her mouth wide, unable to say a word. The old man in the awakening realm let out a roar of shock and anger. No! Young Master Dragon Spring. You actually killed young Master Dragon Spring. You're dead. The few awakening realm powerhouses, who were with the old man, shouted in anger and madness at the same time. Noisy. Xinghui's expression turned cold. His figure suddenly leaped forward, stabbing towards the 6 awakening realm powerhouses outside the hall. The green firmament sword moved, sword energy crisscrossing. Xinghui, who rushed out of the living room, seemed to have swept up a storm of sword energy. In an instant, the eaves of the living room were torn into pieces. The remaining sword energy shot into the 6 awakening realm powerhouses, causing them to cry out in shock and retreat. Even so, one of them reacted half a beat slower, and was pierced between the eyebrows by one of the sword energy, shooting him to death on the spot. Chapter 69. Let's go. Let's go. We can't resist the sharpness of a stage 3 divine weapon. Go back and report this to Fairy Bayou immediately. Exclamations and screams continuously sounded from the surviving awakening realm experts and the onlooking servants. Longquan has harmed countless women and families. All of you have contributed to his crimes. You will all die together. Sing Hui's figure flew up. The attribute of a tier 22 allowed his movement technique to not lose out to any true energy realm expert. Not to mention that he still had a tier 3 upper grade green firmament sword in his hand. Even if he did not have the green firmament sword in his hand, based on his own cultivation, it was enough to kill everyone present. Whoosh! The green cloud sword danced, and sword chi swept across. One by one, the awakening realm experts, viscera refining realm, and blood-changing realm guards were all killed by the green cloud sword. Wherever the sword chi went, no one could stop it. Even though some of the awakening realm experts also held divine weapons, they were still mercilessly shot to death in front of the stage 3 divine weapons' indestructible sharpness and sword chi. Fairy Bayou will avenge us. Accompanied by the last old man's scream, the remaining 5 awakening realm experts were all killed. Blood flowed like a river in young Master Longquan's mansion. It was just like the demon hunters' union that Sing Hui had suppressed in the divine weapon tower. Whoosh! After killing all the awakening realm experts in the mansion, Sing Hui's figure flashed and swept up a wave of air as he stepped back into the living room. That kind of oppressive and fierce aura made Princess Lan Yu, who was an awakening realm expert, unable to help but retreat. Her eyes were filled with fear. You! Princess Lan Yu looked at Sing Hui. Her eyes were no longer as casual as before. Instead, there was a trace of fear and reverence. Are you really only in the awakening realm? Alright, let's go. Sing Hui did not answer. It was very difficult for a cultivator to restrain all of their power, and the feeling of suppressing it was very unfavorable for future cultivation. Because of this, a person's cultivation could be seen at a glance. From the movement technique you displayed just now, it's not inferior to a true energy realm expert. Sing Hui, don't tell me you've awakened a holy beast bloodline. And it's even a speed-type holy beast bloodline. So what if I am? Princess Lan Yu's eyes lit up. If you've really awakened a sacred beast bloodline, your status will be completely different. Let alone ordinary factions. Even in the Hunyuan Heaven sect, less than a tenth of those have awakened a sacred beast bloodline. If you can maintain the purity of your sacred beast bloodline and cultivate to the true chi stage, it won't be difficult for you to catch the eye of an elder and be accepted as a disciple. If an elder is willing to protect you and senior sister Nalan is involved, the peak master of Sky Origin will definitely choose to stand by and watch. When that time comes, Fairy Bayou won't be able to borrow the peak master's power, and will easily be dealt with by senior sister Nalan. Sing Hui shook his head. I will deal with this matter myself. How will you deal with it? For this matter, you can only rely on senior sister Nalan's strength. Although you have a rank 3 divine weapon, senior sister Biu is highly regarded by the Void Origin Peak Master, so she definitely has one as well. It's very likely that it's a high rank 3 divine weapon. The only way to resolve this is to contact senior sister Nalan. Princess Lan Yu glanced at Wu Yuyao. If you're alone, you can just leave. Senior sister Biu can't do anything to you. But what about Miss Wu? You can't just ignore her. Junior brother Longquan died because of her. Senior sister Bayou won't let this matter rest. Wu Yuyao. Sing Hui frowned when he heard Princess Lan Yu mention her. This was indeed a problem. Even though Wu Yuyao did not have much of a place in his heart, the 20 Dao ripples in his body were all obtained because of Wu Yuyao. Furthermore, he had also promised to protect Wu Yuyao. If Bayou were to vent her anger on Wu Yuyao, only senior sister Nalan can deal with this matter. Xinghui nodded. He had to admit this fact. However, although killing young Master Long Quan brought some trouble, Xinghui didn't regret it. Even if he didn't kill young Master Long Quan, the latter wouldn't let this matter rest. What he needed to do now was to ensure that Wu Yuyao wasn't implicated. Send Wu Yuyao to the Hunyuan Heaven sect. Xinghui said. What about you? I still have something to do. Xinghui didn't wait for Princess Lan Yu to speak, and waved his hand. I've already made up my mind. No need to persuade me. Princess Lan Yu couldn't understand. This matter could be perfectly resolved if Xinghui joined the Hunyuan Heaven sect. But why? There's a flying boat from the Eastern Cloud Empire to the Hunyuan Heaven sect every day. It takes off on time in the morning. It's late now. Rest for a day, and bring Wu Yuyao to the Hunyuan Heaven sect tomorrow morning. After saying that, Qing Su really did not want to owe her any more favors, so she took out a small booklet and passed it to Princess Lan Yu. Please take this to Auntie Naylin. Treat it as some compensation for using her name so many times. This is. Seeing the booklet Xinghui took out, Princess Lan Yu seemed to have thought of something. Her breath suddenly stopped. Peng Unhindered Art High-Grade Saint Technique. Saint Technique. Even though she was mentally prepared, Princess Lan Yu still felt her heart tremble when she heard the words Saint Technique. Saint Technique. This is a Saint Technique. And it's a high-grade Saint Technique. Heavenly Peng. This is the bloodline Prince Xinghui awakened. No wonder you can travel at such speed. Keep it well. Don't lose it. Xinghui handed the booklet over. Princess Lan Yu's hands trembled slightly as she received the Peng Unhindered Art. She solemnly promised, Prince Xinghui, don't worry. Even if I have to risk my life, I will deliver this technique to senior sister Naylin. You, the princess of the Wei Sea Kingdom, followed me into young Master Long Quan's residence, and will probably be affected. I'll allow you to make a copy of the Peng Unhindered Art. I can make a copy of it too. Princess Lan Yu's pretty face was filled with pleasant surprise when she heard that, and she bowed repeatedly to express her gratitude. Thank you, young Master Qing Su. Thank you, young Master Qing Su. Lan Yu will definitely remember young Master Qing Su's kindness, and will never forget it. This was a high-grade saint technique. This was a top-notch technique that could be passed down in the royal family and ensure the longevity of the royal family. As long as someone in the Wei Sea royal family could use this technique to awaken a sacred beast bloodline and become a disciple of an elder, the entire royal family would soar. It was not impossible for them to develop to a level not inferior to the Eastern Cloud Empire in the future. Compared to the huge benefits of obtaining this high-grade saint technique, offending senior sister Bu was nothing. That's all. Xinghui's gaze fell on Wu Yuyao. You will follow Princess Lan Yu to the Hunyuan Heaven sect. Wu Yuyao knew that she would only be a burden if she followed Xinghui. Moreover, because of Wu Hunyuan and Wu Ju, she had a deep fear of Xinghui. She did not reject the idea of leaving Xinghui's side and going to the Hunyuan Heaven sect. She only responded pitifully, I will follow Prince Xinghui's orders. Don't worry, Prince Xinghui. I will not let Miss Wu come to any harm. Princess Lan Yu's attitude had undergone a huge change. She began to consider problems from Xinghui's standpoint. She looked at him with a strange gaze. Young Master Longquan is deeply doted on by Fairy Bu. There must be many good things in his residence. If Prince Xinghui looks carefully, you will definitely find something. Take Wu Yuyao to buy the tickets. You don't need to bother with the matters here. Yes. Princess Lan Yu bowed gracefully and left with Wu Yuyao. As she walked out of the living room with Wu Yuyao, she secretly glanced back at Xinghui. She knew that although she was inferior to Wu Yuyao in terms of looks, her background and temperament were better than Wu Yuyao's. Since Xinghui had taken a fancy to Wu Yuyao, she might have a chance. She was a cultivator who had awakened a sacred beast bloodline. However, she had to think of a way to let Xinghui enter the Hunyuan Heaven sect. At that time, the two of them would be in the same sect, and with the relationship they had today, they would have the upper hand. Xinghui did not know about the change in Princess Lan Yu's thoughts. After putting the good things on young Master Longquan, Yang Zhong and the other cultivators into his personal space, He quickly found young Master Hunyuan's treasure room, according to the layout of his residence. It had to be said that Bai Yu doted on her younger brother very much. There were many kinds of treasures in young Master Hunyuan's treasure room, although most of them were elixirs, natural treasures, and refined spirit beast blood essence. In terms of total value, they were almost on the same level as the 10,000 Swords Mountain, an ancient sect that had been passed down for hundreds of years. The treasures on the younger brother of a true disciple were close to the treasures of a centuries-old sect. This was proof of the Hunyuan heaven sect's wealth. This made Xing Hui, who understood the power of a divine weapon, a little more vigilant. With the divine art, he was not afraid of Bai Yu, who had cultivated her qi into energy and wielded a grade 3 divine weapon. But what if the divine weapon in Bai Yu's hand was not a grade 3 divine weapon, but a grade 4 one? But now, what he needed to do was to pack up all these things as soon as possible. After a few hours, Qing Su stowed everything away in her personal space. She raised her head and glanced at the pitch-black night sky. Before long, she directly left young Master Long Quan's residence and the capital of the Eastern Cloud Empire. She made her way to the place where the Dawn Organization and the Sword Master Bai Heng had agreed on. After Xing Hui left, the news of young Master Long Quan being killed by Xing Hui from the Lorraine Kingdom was spread by the surviving servants and slowly spread. For a time, it set off a storm in the Eastern Cloud Empire. After the Lorraine Kingdom, Xing Hui's name quickly spread throughout the Eastern Cloud Empire's imperial capital. Everyone was thinking of all sorts of ways to find out exactly who this culprit who dared to kill young Master Long Quan, this hedonistic son of rich parents, was, and what his background was. But Xing Hui naturally did not know. Even if he knew, he would not care. The date of the Dawn Organization's meeting was approaching. He did not have much time to waste in the Eastern Cloud Empire's imperial capital. He left the Eastern Cloud Empire's imperial capital and hurried to the Cloud Pool in the Cloud Wilderness. When he arrived at the trading location in the Eastern Cloud Empire's imperial capital, he had also arrived at the agreed time with the Dawn Organization. Chapter 70. Your Excellency Pak Hui? In the forest, Ling Yu, who was wearing a black robe and a veil, suddenly appeared. Leader Ling Yu. Xing Hui nodded. He was also wearing a black robe with his face covered. The identity of a son of chaos in the real world was of utmost importance. In this world, there were many organizations that specialized in capturing sons of chaos. Without strength, once exposed, one would become the prey. Under such circumstances, hiding one's identity outside of the Chaos Temple was an unspoken rule that anyone could understand. Those who wished to trade have arrived. However, since Your Excellency Pak Hui is a newcomer, I will be in charge of receiving you first before bringing you to the rendezvous point. When Your Excellency Pak Hui stepped into this area, I have already secretly observed Your Excellency Pak Hui. Please forgive me for my rudeness. I understand. Please follow me. Ling Yu smiled and brought Xing Hui deeper into the cloud-desolate mountain range. The two of them, one in front and one behind, quickly traversed 100 li and arrived at a place surrounded by mountains. There were already 10 people waiting here. Leader, Lord Ling Yu. Seeing Ling Yu's arrival, the 10 people either nodded at her or stood up to greet her. Many of them glanced at Xing Hui with a hint of caution. After all, Xing Hui was just a newcomer. Who knew if he really obtained the inheritance of a son of chaos by chance? Or if he was a bait placed in the outside world by those organizations that specialized in capturing sons of chaos? This is Your Excellency Pak Hui. You have already met her in the Chaos Temple. I have carefully observed Your Excellency Pak Hui and did not find anything unusual. Ling Yu said. Everyone present let out a sigh of relief. In addition, Xing Hui was obviously only in the awakening realm. This made them feel more at ease with Xing Hui. While these people were sizing up Xing Hui was also sizing them up. The 10 people, most of them were in the true qi realm and spirit refining realm. Other than Ling Yu, there was only one in the spirit qi unity realm, Xing Yao. However, he had probably just stepped into the unity of spirit and qi realm not too long ago. Dawn was only a small organization. To be able to gather such a large number of people and practitioners in one trade was already considered good. Everyone is here. Let's set off now. As Lingyu spoke, she waved her hand, and a metal ball with a diameter of 3 meters appeared. Then, the metal ball rapidly transformed into a golden heavenly pung with a wingspan of 10 meters. This is the 4th-tier high-grade flying magic artifact, the Sacred Winged Golden Rock. I didn't expect Lord Leader to be able to buy a Sacred Winged Golden Rock. Compared to a flying boat, although the Sacred Winged Golden Rock can only carry a tenth of its passengers, its speed is 3 times faster. Otherwise we'll tear that traitor to shreds. We naturally trust Leader Lingyu. Leader, to prevent any unforeseen circumstances, let's start as soon as possible. Lingyu nodded. Following some subtle changes in her mind waves, everyone quickly fell silent. During this time, everyone was also observing their surroundings and probing the underground river. They were preparing to escape as soon as possible if an accident occurred. Although the probability of an accident occurring was actually only 1 in 5, or even 1 in 10, it was always better to be careful. Your Excellency Pak Hui. While everyone was investigating their surroundings, Feng Hui, Bai Hai and Void Cloud had already arrived in front of Xing Hui. Xing Hui greeted the 3 of them. Your Excellency Pak Hui has already entered the awakening realm. Are you preparing a divine codex for your family? Bai Hai asked curiously. Xing Hui nodded slightly. Seeing that Xing Hui was unwilling to say more, Bai Hai nodded understandingly and did not ask any more questions. Time passed as they waited. After about half an hour, a glimmer of light suddenly appeared in Lingyu's eyes. Everyone, follow me to welcome Sword Master Bai Heng. You must not be rude to him during the transaction. We understand. Is he here? This is my first time seeing Sword Master Bai Heng. It's said that Sword Master Bai Heng is devastatingly beautiful. Unfortunately, he's always covered his face with a veil. I wonder if that's true? Everyone immediately perked up at Lingyu's reminder. Lingyu focused her mind and released her mind power. In fact, she was now a coordinate for Sword Master Bai Heng to use her mind waves as a foundation and perform the incarnation skill through the Chaos Temple. Only then could he project his mind consciousness from Tianhuang region to the eastern wilderness, from hundreds of millions of kilometers away. Buzz buzz! As the ripples in the void changed, a figure suddenly appeared in the void. It was a woman in white with a sword on her back. The moment this woman appeared, her body seemed to radiate a dazzling divine light. She was like a dazzling sun, completely illuminating a radius of hundreds of meters. The intense light caused many people to be unable to open their eyes for a while. This was the result of the incarnation skill's newly formed power, leaking without precise control. However, the woman in white quickly retracted her divine light into her body and slowly landed on the ground. Although she covered her face with a veil, her noble, sacred, and inviolable aura shocked everyone present. They did not even dare to breathe loudly. Sword Master Bai Heng had arrived. What a strong mental pressure, Xing Hui thought to himself. The strength of the incarnation skill projected by Sword Master Bai Heng was not worth mentioning. It was probably not at the awakening realm, but the mental will and the dazzling sun-like sword intent in the incarnation skill had far surpassed that of the mysterious stone pillar Xing Hui had seen in the ancestral land of the 10,000 Swords Mountain. If anyone thought that the incarnation skill of Sword Master Bai Heng was weak, they would be gravely mistaken. She did not need a body. She could kill everyone present except for Xingyao and Lingyu just by relying on the sword intent in the incarnation skill. Even Xing Hui might not be able to survive the impact of such powerful sword intent if Sword Master Bai Heng focused on him. No wonder she's a top expert of Tianhuang region. Even though she's hundreds of millions of kilometers away, the sword intent she can manifest is probably only 1/100th of that. But still. Welcome, Sword Master Bai Heng. Lingyu had already led everyone to bow respectfully. Sword Master Bai Heng glanced at Lingyu and the others one by one and said calmly, "Have you prepared the items for the trade? We have 2 items in this trade. One is the Supreme Saint Technique, the White Tiger Sacred Body, and the other is an Awakening Divine Codex. These are the 25 Dao auras needed to exchange for the White Tiger sacred body. Please take a look, Sword Master Bai Hung. As Lingyu spoke, she handed over the Dao-carrying items that everyone had prepared beforehand. Sword Master Bai Hung took the items and asked, "Who is the successor?" "Sword Master Bai Hung, please bestow the technique." Lingyu bowed respectfully. "Okay." Sword Master Bai Hung did not hesitate. He pointed his slender finger between Lingyu's eyebrows, and the mental waves on their bodies changed at the same time. After about 10 breaths, Sword Master Bai Hung stopped. The inheritance was over. However, Sword Master Bai Hung's mental strength decreased by 20%. "Thank you, Sword Master Bai Hung." After a short while, Lingyu opened her eyes and bowed excitedly. "Thank you, Sword Master Bai Hung. You can dictate to the others." "Yes." As soon as Lingyu finished speaking, the 7 participants who had participated in the White Tiger sacred body cultivation method immediately stepped forward. As Lingyu performed a technique to isolate her voice, she immediately finished dictating to the 7 of them under Sword Master Bai Hung's witness. After she finished dictating, Sword Master Bai Hung nodded to indicate that there was no mistake. Lingyu then turned to Tsinghui again while Tsinghui, Fenghui, Yun Kong, and Bai Hai stepped forward. Tsinghui stepped forward and collected the items in their hands. Then he took out a fragment that contained level 2 Taoist rhymes and handed it to Sword Master Bai Hung. "Sword Master Bai Hung, please bestow upon us an awakening technique." Sword Master Bai Hung nodded as usual. However, when his gaze fell on the fragment in Tsinghui's hand, there was a slight change in his expression. The next moment, Sword Master Bai Hung's mental message rang in Tsinghui's mind. "This item is one of the fragments of the Saint Soul Pearl. Do you have any other fragments?" "Saint Soul Pearl?" Tsinghui thought of something, and immediately sent the other 9 fragments of the Saint Soul Pearl to Sword Master Bai Hung using the mental message technique. Seeing how Qing Su had also grasped a soul communication technique, Sword Master Bai Hung could not help but glance at him. After receiving his message, he said straightforwardly, "I need all 10 fragments of the Saint Soul Pearl. I have 2 that you can choose from. The first is the Truth of Primordial Chaos, a high-tier divine scripture. Apart from being able to awaken the Kuan-Peng bloodline, it also has a cultivation method to reach the 4th level of longevity. It's worth 70 rhythms of ways, but it's worth 1 less because the cultivation method is incomplete. The second is the Torch Sun scripture, a regular divine scripture. It can awaken the great Sun True God's Torch Dragon bloodline and reach the 6th level of longevity. It costs 55 rhythms of ways." Chapter 71. Torch Sun Sutra? Tsinghui suddenly thought of Sword Master Bai Hung's name. Bai Hung, was it not the Hung from eternity, but the Hung from the stars? Sword Master Bai Hung is cultivating the Torch Sun Sutra? That's right. The Torch Sun Sutra is one of the techniques I cultivate. Does Sword Master Bai Hung have the Chaos Essence Scripture and the Torch Sun Sutra? The Chaos Essence Scripture is only at the 4th stage of the longevity stage. You have to exchange for the other techniques. I have already cultivated the Torch Sun Sutra to the 6th stage of the Sage stage. What she meant was that she also had the 6th stage of the Sage stage. Tsinghui immediately made a decision. I choose the Torch Sun Sutra. Although the Chaos Essence Scripture was good and had a 30% chance of awakening the Kuan-Peng bloodline, Tsinghui did not want to run around for the other techniques in the future. On the other hand, if he wanted to cultivate the Torch Sun Sutra, he could trade it with Sword Master Bai Hung. It would save him the trouble of running around looking for the other techniques. He was pressed for time and did not want to wait for a few years because he did not have the other techniques. Tsinghui's answer seemed to surprise Sword Master Bai Hung. She fell silent for a while. There was a difference of 15 points between 70 and 55 Taoist rhymes. After a few breaths, she spoke again. Okay. Thank you. Prepare the inheritance. Tsinghui immediately focused his mind. In the next moment, a scorching sword intent suddenly stepped into Qing Su's mental world with resplendent light like the sun. It made it seem like 2 suns had appeared in Qing Su's mental world that possessed the Golden Crow's bloodline in the first place. They shone brilliantly against each other. Golden Crow bloodline? Sword Master Bai Hung, who stepped into Tsing Hui's mind, sensed that the blazing sun had a slight change in his mind. I didn't expect you to have such an opportunity. Sword Master Bai Hung's voice sounded again. I was just lucky. Prepare the inheritance. After Sword Master Bai Hung finished speaking, a majestic consciousness collided with Tsing Hui's mind. Countless images flashed through his mind. The awakening method, the body tempering method of the first level of longevity, the void refinement method of the second level of longevity, the qi refinement method of the third level of longevity, the qi refinement method of the third level of longevity, the divine qi integration method of the fourth level of longevity, the heaven-man intersection method of the fifth level of longevity, and the sacred body manifestation method of the sixth level of longevity. The inheritance of consciousness was completely based on the Sword Master, Bai Hung's own experiences, in practicing these methods. Qing Su would obviously absorb some of the Sword Master, Bai Hung's understanding of these methods. So he already possessed a certain foundation in these methods, before he even began practicing them. After the inheritance of the awakening method, and the longevity state 6 cultivation method was completed, Sword Master Bai Hung's consciousness did not dissipate. Instead, it materialized a sword technique in Tsing Hui's mind. It was a sword technique that was different from the Illuminating Sun Sutra, but it could mobilize the mysteries of the sun. After leaving this sword style in Tsing Hui's mind, Sword Master Bai Hung stopped the connection between their consciousnesses. The Sword of the Glorious Sun is a swordsmanship that I derived. It's not easy to cultivate the bloodline of the Golden Crow. I hope you won't die on the way to the immortal level. Glorious Sun. A swordsmanship that simulated the eruption of the sun required one to master one's vital qi, sword intent, and talent to the extreme. The degree of mastery, the strength of vital qi, the strength of sword intent, and the power of bloodline would determine the ultimate power of the sword. This was a fatal sword move, a fatal sword move. Tsing Hui even felt that the value of this swordsmanship alone was not inferior to the Illuminating Sun Sutra. Thank you, Tsing Hui said seriously. You're welcome, Sword Master Bai Hung said, and withdrew his consciousness. Sword Master Bai Hung had always been cold and practical. It was very rare to hear that she would give extra guidance to her successor. If it were not for the fact that Qing Su had given away the Saint Soul Pearl, that seemed to be of extraordinary value, and that he had cultivated the Golden Crow's bloodline, he might not have had such a fortuitous encounter either. As if sensing that the inheritance had been completed, Yunkong Bai Hai and Feng Hui quickly surrounded him. Tsing Hui immediately recited the Illuminating Sun Sutra to the three of them. The Illuminating Dragon was one of the most mysterious divine beasts. There were different versions of its magical powers. The most common version was that the Illuminating Dragon was called the Great Sun True God. Some said that it was the essence of the Western Sun. Both were related to the sun. Another version said that it controlled the order of time, and was called the Dragon of Time. The last version was extremely mystical. It was called the Creator Primordial Spirit. It had the head of a dragon, and the body of a snake. When it breathed, it was wind and rain. When it blew, it was thunder and lightning. When it opened its eyes, it was day, and when it closed its eyes, it was night. However, according to Sword Master Bai Hung's methods, the Great Sun True God was obviously more reliable. As Tsing Hui recited, Feng Hui, Bai Hai, and Yunkong listened attentively. When Tsing Hui finished reciting the Illuminating Sun Sutra, although the three of them had memorized it, they still did not have a clear understanding of this divine beast. They secretly decided to go back and read the ancient books to comprehend it. After confirming that Tsing Hui's recitation of the Illuminating Sun Sutra was correct, Sword Master Bai Hung turned to Lingyu. The deal is done. Goodbye. Farewell, Sword Master Bai Hung. Lingyu hurriedly led the Dawn people to bow. Sword Master Bai Hung did not say anything. He only glanced at Tsing Hui before he left, and then he soared into the air, and his incarnation dissipated. Bang! It was as if a scorching sun had erupted in the void, releasing tens of thousands of rays of light. Blazing heat waves rolled across, covering the brilliance of the sun. A clone that's separated by billions of kilometers actually possesses such might. I really wonder how powerful Sword Master Bai Heng's actual cultivation is. Xingyao looked at the dazzling brilliance that erupted when Sword Master Bai Heng's incarnation dissipated, and praised sincerely. Sword Master Bai Heng is one of the most famous experts of Heaven Wasteland domain. His cultivation base has long reached the peak of perfection. It is said that he seems to have broken the shackles of the Saint Realm and stepped into a level that ordinary people cannot imagine. If it were not for the Chaos Temple, we would never have the chance to see such a great figure. Feng Hui said beside Xing Hui. Ling Yu also fixed her eyes on Sword Master Bai Heng, her eyes flashing with a blazing light, as if she was hoping that one day she would also reach the same level as Sword Master Bai Heng. After a long while, she turned to the crowd and said, "Well, this time the transaction went smoothly. Since you have obtained what you want, you can return. I will directly cross the cloud-desolate mountain range to the islands outside the sea, and continue to track down the whereabouts of the traitor dragon Shadow. If it is on the way, I can give you a ride. I will go with you. I am not in the same direction as you, so I will not trouble you. It is rare to come to the cloud-desolate mountain range. I plan to gain experience in the cloud-desolate mountain range, and at the same time comprehend the cultivation method of the White Tiger sacred body." Everyone made their choice and gradually dispersed. Xing Hui had newly obtained the Blazing Sun Sutra, 13 heaven-burning swords, and Sword of the Sun Glory. He needed to spend time to comprehend them. Although there were many fierce beasts and spiritual beasts in the cloud-desolate mountain range, but as long as he did not go too deep, it was still safe. He chose to stay in the cloud-desolate mountain range. During this period, Feng Hui, Yinkong, and Bai Hai discussed with Xing Hui to comprehend the Blazing Sun Sutra together. When they had time, they would exchange their cultivation experiences in the Chaos Shrine. After leaving the big crack, Xing Hui stepped on his flying sword and flew across the sky, leaving the core of the cloud-desolate mountain range. When he arrived at the area where the ranked spiritual beasts and ordinary fierce beasts were active, he consciously looked for a cave that could allow people to live in. Half a day later, a cave that met his criteria appeared in front of him. After entering the cave, Xing Hui rested for a while and set up many warning devices outside the cave. After that, he recalled Sword Master Bai Heng's inheritance of the Blazing Sun Sutra and carefully comprehended it. The Torch Dragon was the Great Sun True God. According to Bai Heng's subjective thought, the Torch Dragon's form was a divine dragon that burned with raging flames, and there seemed to be a bright sun behind it. As Xing Hui began to condense the Torch Dragon's shadow, a blazing sun slowly rose in his spiritual world again. In less than a moment, two suns were shining together. The newly derived Torch Dragon's sun could not be compared to the great sun's shadow with the golden crow as the foundation for the time being. However, under the image of the great sun golden crow, it was rapidly growing. Even Xing Hui's body was slowly strengthening. 3 months passed quickly. Relying on the foundation of Sword Master Bai Heng's divine sense inheritance, Xing Hui had completely comprehended the Blazing Sun Sutra. But he was still a step away from truly molding the Torch Dragon's divine soul. Molding the divine soul itself is a process of materializing essence, energy, and spirit. Although I saw the Torch Dragon's shadow in Sword Master Bai Heng's inheritance, I didn't really see it. As a result, the Torch Dragon's divine soul that was molded was like a pavilion in the sky, a dream. Seeing, the difficulty was too high. There were a total of 18 divine beasts in the world. However, there were only 10 types that could be confirmed and seen by people. Therefore, there was also a saying in the outside world that there were 10 divine beasts. The Torch Dragon was one of the 8 divine beasts that people could not really confirm. It was because of this that people guessed that the Torch Dragon was either the Great Sun True God, the Time Dragon, or the Genesis Primordial Spirit. It was day when one opened their eyes, and night when one closed their eyes. What kind of vast power was this? It's unrealistic to witness the real Torch Dragon. In that case, I can only work on the Torch Dragon that Bai Heng's subjective imagination. As Xing Hui thought about it, his heart suddenly moved. Torch Dragon? If it was just a simple image, he might have seen it before. It was not the eastern wilderness, but the world of Earth. He had once seen an epic work in Wuxia, that explained the great calamity of the world in ancient times. In that great calamity, the torch dragon appeared for a moment and controlled the order of time. It transformed into the time dragon and shuttled between the 4 seasons of day, night, winter, and summer. Although the torch dragon that he saw in that epic work was also a shadow, it was much clearer than the image of the torch dragon in Sword Master by Hang's consciousness inheritance. What was someone else's was ultimately someone else's. It could never be compared to his own experience. With that thought, the torch dragon soul that Xing Hui had created in his mental world immediately changed. It was vivid, ethereal, and carried an ancient and mysterious aura. A few days later, when the image of the torch dragon that Xing Hui had obtained from that epic work, and the torch dragon's shadow that he had inherited from Sword Master, by Hang's consciousness completely merged, a vast and imposing figure was immediately derived from his mental world. Then, it burst out with a brilliant light and turned into a new sun. Awakening, the sunlight was brilliant and constantly washed over his body, causing his body that was originally at level 22 of all attributes to be strengthened again. Unlike the brilliant light that was released from the Golden Crow's great sun, that was extremely domineering and focused on burning the target, the brilliant light released from the torch dragon's great sun seemed to carry a more mysterious charm in addition to being blazing and violent. A kind of unit, or rather scale, the scale of time. Just like how the ancient people judged the day and night to be a day based on the light emitted by the sun, the torch dragon's great sun was also covered in a layer of mystery. However, this mysterious color was hidden and not obvious at the moment, and no one knew about it yet. Chapter 72. The illuminating sun scripture had been successfully cultivated. Qing Su moved his body slightly, and scorching power surged out from his body endlessly. It surged through his body at a speed that surpassed the limits of the human body. Xing Hui didn't need the help of the Chaos Temple to know that all his attributes would increase again. 25 levels. All his attributes increased by 3 levels. Although it wasn't as exaggerated as the Great Sun Golden Crow, one was an increase of 10 levels above the foundation of the Awakening Realm, while the other was an increase of 3 levels above the foundation of the True Energy Realm. The effects of the two were incomparable. Sensing the tremendous power in his body, Qing Su leapt up and left the cave in a single instance. He rushed through the forest rapidly. He was so fast that he seemed like a white steed that flashed through a gap. As long as the trees along the way were not towering, he didn't avoid them and directly crashed into them. Bang! 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 Along with the wood chips flying, many trees, including those that required 2 people to wrap their arms around, were broken by his body and collapsed one after another, startling countless birds in the forest. After a while, Xing Hui returned to the outside of the cave. 25 levels of defense has made my body's strength and toughness beyond the limits of the human body. If I go to Earth and fight in Mount Dongyang with this body, I can face hundreds of firearms with ease. The bullets of ordinary firearms can't penetrate my skin at all. Even sniper rifles and heavy firearms can only cause superficial injuries. It's not worth mentioning. Xing Hui clenched his hand. There seemed to be a wave of air in his palm. It formed a small whirlwind on the ground and rolled up the fallen leaves. When the wave of air was completely grasped in his palm, Xing Hui suddenly threw it. Bang! The trees in front of him shook violently. Countless twigs and leaves burst out and exploded in the void. Using qi to hurt people. This was a technique that was close to the void refinement realm. However, Xing Hui could do this because the qi and blood in his body were too strong. So it was similar to releasing true qi and using qi to hurt people. In fact, he was still a little bit away from the realm of true qi. True qi, refining the void to return to reality. One must fully comprehend the transformation of true qi between the void and the real. Xing Hui's right hand kept rolling forward and backward. Under the control of his qi and blood, streams of air kept entrenching in his hand. Not long after, they had turned into visible streams of air that rolled up layers of ripples, which were no different from genuine qi. His level 4 comprehension allowed him to fully comprehend the various profundities of the void refinement in Ata. During the time, he spent cultivating the illuminating Sun Sutra. Zhenqi is the power of qi and blood compressed to the extreme. Qi and blood are illusory, while zhenqi is real. Only by gathering the essence of qi and blood and refining it into reality can one call it zhenqi. The stronger one's qi and blood, the stronger one's zhenqi. Xing Hui felt that his physique had yet to reach the true limit. In order to prevent his divine beast talent from turning into a sacred beast, he did not refine his void and return to reality. He did not cultivate his true qi and step into the second layer of immortality. Now that he had a better understanding of his own cultivation, he returned to the cave and visualized two suns in his mind. The blazing sun shone on his body, stimulating his potential at every moment and pushing his body toward the limit of the awakening realm. Another 3 months passed. By the time Xing Hui pushed all his attributes to level 26 with difficulty, the speed at which the two suns shone on his body had become extremely slow. Although it had yet to reach the limit, according to the speed, it would take at least 3 to 5 years for his attributes to climb another level. It might even take 8 to 10 years, unless he could consume the Golden Crow's blood essence, or the Torch Dragon's blood essence. However, the Torch Dragon had always been mysterious, and there was no trace of it for 10,000 years. On the other hand, the Great Sun Golden Crow lived in the blazing sun, and rarely went out. It could not be captured unless one had great divine power. A drop of the Golden Crow's blood essence was worth dozens of Dao runes. It was often priceless. Xing Hui could not do anything. In the end, he shifted his gaze to the Chaos Temple. Xing Hui. Chaos level, level 15. Attack level, 26. Defense level, 26. Speed level, 26. Spirit level, 45. In half a year, his chaos level had increased by 3 levels and reached level 15. His spirit level had also increased by 2 levels due to the continuous comprehension of the sword intent left in Sword Master by Hang's consciousness. Xing Hui looked at it for a moment, and his gaze landed on the chaos level 15. A new skill was born at the chaos level 15, the divine protection technique. However, when it came to alchemy and weapon refinement, success was a matter of probability, even if the probability was only 1 in 10,000. Simply put, if he wanted to refine a level 6 divine weapon, he only needed to obtain the materials for a level 6 divine weapon and obtain the formula to start refining. Then the divine protection technique would be able to complete the refinement. This skill was even more powerful than the advanced technique he had obtained when he was at the chaos level 5. Xing Hui glanced at the green firmament sword in his hand. As his strength continued to increase, the green firmament sword could not keep up. Forget it. Although I have some minerals collected from the 10,000 Swords Mountain and young Master Longquan's residence, these materials can only be used to refine a level 3 divine weapon. It's useless to use them. It won't be too late to add the divine protection technique when I gather more precious materials. After making up his mind, Xing Hui glanced at the divine technique. Buzz. Buzz. With a slight change, the divine technique was upgraded to level 2. However, when Xing Hui saw the description of the level 2 divine technique, he frowned. The level 2 divine technique did not raise one's cultivation level by 2 as he had imagined. Instead, the interval between uses was reduced from 30 days a month to 15 days in half a month. He rubbed his glabella. He had to admit that being unable to see the effects of the next level in the Sun of Chaos interface was indeed a headache. If he had known that the level 2 divine technique would only reduce the interval from 30 days to 15 days, he would not have wasted a chaos level on the divine technique. After glancing at the remaining 2 chaos levels, Xing Hui placed one of them on recovery, raising it from level 2 to level 3. Level 3 recovery clearly increased the energy activity in his body more significantly. As for the last chaos level, Xing Hui used it on his sword Dao talent. During this period of time, Xing Hui had comprehended the sword of the glorious sun, but he could not find a way. It was like looking at flowers in a fog. He could only hope to raise his sword Dao talent to level 3 and see if he could fully comprehend the sword of the glorious sun as his final trump card. Level 4 comprehension, level 3 recovery, Level 3 Sword Dao Talent. Level 2 Divine Technique. Level 1 Appraisal. Level 1 Personal Space and Level 1 Advance. Xinghui glanced at them one by one. When his gaze fell on the Divine Technique, he clearly paused for a moment. I can't make the same mistake. Now that he was in the Chaos Temple, he immediately exited his personal space, pinched a spell, and appeared in the personal space of the leader of Dawn Lingyu. Your Excellency Pak Hui, I haven't seen you for a while. In the living room of Lingyu's personal space, Blazing Glory was talking to 3 people. When he saw Xinghui, he smiled and greeted him. After a transaction, Xinghui had gained the trust of the people of Dawn. Of course, this was not unrelated to the fact that he was only in the awakening realm and was almost no threat. Xinghui nodded to Blazing Glory and asked, "Is Heaven's Inquisition here? You're looking for Heaven's Inquisition of the Divine Mysteries Pavilion? Deacon Song Song is trading information with him. You need to wait a moment. Do you want to buy information from him? I'm a little curious about the many abilities given by the Chaos Temple. I wonder what it'll be like if personal space and appraisal are upgraded to a higher level," Xinghui said. His words made Blazing Glory's eyes flash with a hint of obscurity. Asking about this kind of thing, the chaos level had reached level 2? However, he didn't reveal anything on the surface. Instead, he smiled and said, "That's nothing. The effects of these abilities were hidden very well before, but now, it's become common knowledge. Not to mention personal space, appraisal, and the information of various talents have been completely analyzed. Even the advanced spells, holy spells, divine protection, resurrection, incarnation, and teleportation have been exposed one by one." Teleportation. When Xinghui heard these words, his heart suddenly skipped a beat. He could not wait to ask, "Teleportation? Can it allow people to teleport through space?" "Yes," Blazing Glory said sincerely. "A teleportation is a life. It relies on thoughts to activate it instantly, which is equivalent to teleporting with a time limit." The time limit was not the main point of Xinghui's attention. The main point was, could he use break realm teleportation to send him to the place he wanted to go? For example, Earth. What medium is needed to use teleportation? Medium? Teleportation can only be used at level 30. If you think it needs a medium like incarnation, then you're wrong. Blazing Glory smiled and pointed to his brain. As long as it's a place you've been before, he can teleport you there immediately with just a thought. This result opened a new door for Xinghui. If a level 30 teleportation could really teleport him to any place he had been before, perhaps he could return to Earth in advance without having to cultivate to the level of crushing vacuum or find ancient god Jun's cave abode. Wait a moment. Blazing Glory stood up and walked toward a bookshelf not far from the living room. Soon, he flipped through a book and handed it to Xinghui. Here is a description of all the skills before level 32 Son of Chaos. As for what kind of abilities Sons of Chaos above level 32 possess, it hasn't been spread out. After all, there are too few Sons of Chaos above level 30. In the entire Tianhuang mainland, you can probably count them on one hand. Thank you. Xinghui took the book and flipped through it impatiently. The first thing he looked at was teleportation. Teleportation, level 30 chaos ability, can teleport to any place within a world. Level 1 teleportation has a cooldown of 1 year. A world? Seeing this description, Xinghui frowned. As he continued reading, he quickly understood the concept of a world. A world was a world of its own. It shouldn't be a problem. Xinghui gradually calmed down, feeling somewhat uncertain. Unfortunately, teleportation was too high-end, and the book didn't record information on level 2 teleportation. In the end, Xinghui looked away. Level 30 Son of Chaos was a long way off. At the speed of 1 Dao rhyme per day, he still needed 3.5 years. In these 3.5 years, he couldn't slack off on his cultivation either. With his current cultivation, it wouldn't be difficult for him to return to Earth and dominate the martial arts world. However, he would still inevitably be ruthlessly crushed in the face of the state-level war machine. Moreover, Jiang Ningxi's crimes were enough to sentence her to death. If the worst-case scenario really happened, the awakening realm was far from enough. Chapter 73. Divine Technique, Appraisal, Divine Protection, Evolution, Incarnation, Resurrection. Qing Su flipped through the characteristics of each level of the various abilities. For example, Divine Technique had a cooldown of 7 days at rank 3, 3 days at rank 4, and 1 day at rank 5. After reaching rank 6, one's strength could be increased by 2 realms, and the cooldown would be restored to 1 month. In addition, the book also revealed a new theory. When a Son of Chaos reached rank 20, he could freely choose between strengthening his skills and reducing their cooldowns. For example, for rank 6 Divine Technique, a cultivator could choose to reduce the cooldown to 12 hours, or choose to increase their strength by 2 realms by 1 month. Another example was Resurrection, which had a cooldown of 100 years. When he reached rank 6, he could choose to reduce the cooldown or revive more people. It seems that I have to do my best to keep a portion of my mind in the Chaos Temple, in order to gather more information. Xinghui thought. Your Excellency Pak Hui. At this time, Blazing Glory asked. Leader Ling, you told me to ask you if you intend to join the trade with the 6-winged Divine Phoenix. I made an additional trade with Sword Master Bai Heng, so I'm afraid I won't be able to make it in time. Amen, I saw it, so I wanted to ask you again. Since that's the case, I'll send a message to the leader and have her tell Fei Xue. Thank you for your trouble, Xinghui said. The Illuminating Sun Sutra was not particularly compatible with the Golden Crow bloodline, but it was at least better than the Phoenix bloodline cultivation method. Unless he had a cultivation method that was completely compatible with the Golden Crow bloodline, he did not intend to cultivate any other cultivation method. I haven't seen Your Excellency Pak Hui in this period of time. You aren't still cultivating in seclusion, are you? Xinghui slightly nodded. Many thanks for Your Excellency Blazing Glory's information. I will continue my cultivation. Please do. Blazing Glory gestured for him to leave. After Xinghui left the Chaos Temple, his eyes flashed with an obscure light. After leaving the Chaos Temple, Xinghui once again focused on the cultivation of the Illuminating Sun Sutra. The true qi cultivated from the Torch Sun Sutra is known as Crimson Yang True Qi. Naturally, it's of the Saint grade, and it's further divided into 4 grades: low grade, middle grade, high grade, and peerless. Apart from the peerless True Qi, the other 3 grades can't perfectly unleash the power of the Torch Dragon bloodline. Even high-grade True Qi can't be cultivated. If one can't cultivate the peerless True Qi, they'll be crippled. Xinghui had the Golden Crow bloodline and the Candle Dragon bloodline, so he could cultivate middle-grade Jin Qi even with his eyes closed. During this period of time, he had been practicing the body-tempering method of the Candle Dragon scripture to increase his qi and blood, so it was not difficult for him to cultivate high-grade Jin Qi. The difficult part was that he could perfectly display the power of the Candle Dragon bloodline. What was the difference between a divine beast's bloodline power that couldn't be perfectly unleashed compared to a top-tier saint beast? In this realm, I can either use the body-tempering method of the Candle Sun Sutra to excavate my potential to the extreme, or consume the Torch Dragon blood essence, or a large amount of Crimson Dragon blood essence. With his level 4 comprehension, Xinghui quickly understood the situation he was currently facing. However, ordinary people might only be able to cultivate according to those 2 methods. But Xinghui, he had mastered the method of self-liberation from another world to stimulate the body's potential. He could let himself reach new limits again and again. Level 3 recovery and level 45 spirit were already enough for him to undergo self-liberation for the 4th time. 10 days later, Xinghui completed his 4th self-liberation. The self-release this time had turned the cave into a mess. Many places were even covered with dark red bloodstains. Those were the traces left behind when his body almost collapsed during self-liberation. Every time I release myself, I challenge the limits of my genetic chain. If I raise my recovery to the 4th tier, my body will be able to withstand the 5th round of self-release, but my consciousness won't be able to withstand the pain of breaking through the limits of every cell and every gene in my body during self-release. Xinghui rubbed the space between his eyebrows. He could not help but shudder when he recalled the painful experience in the past 10 days. There was a limit to a person's endurance. Once this limit was exceeded, one's consciousness would collapse. Without consciousness to control it, one's strength would go berserk. Unless his recovery level was a few levels higher, otherwise, it would be a dead end. Either I increase my recovery to level 4 after half a year. No, level 4 is not enough, at least level 5. Or I obtain a stronger spirit. Otherwise, I won't be able to undergo self-liberation for the 5th time. Xinghui glanced at the attributes in his chaos interface. Level 28. That was the increase brought about by self-liberation. Level 28 attributes. With such a strong physique, it'd be strange if I can't refine Qi refinement to absolute grade true Qi during Qi refinement in an état. Xinghui smiled. What he needed to do next was to adjust his essence, Qi, and spirit to their peak, and try to break through to immortality level 2 true energy. Just as Xinghui was adjusting his condition, a soft noise woke him up. It was the security trap he had set outside the cave. The moment he was awakened by the security trap, the two people outside the cave also sensed something. Damn it! It's a trap! They must be inside. Go! With the sound of something breaking through the air, two figures rushed into the cave in an instant. Their bodies shone with stellar energy, fierce and fierce. They were both immortality level 3 true Qi cultivators. These two seem to be coming for me. And stellar energy realm. Are they with primordial heaven sex true disciple Baiyu? Xinghui did not dare to be careless. Before the two could reach him, he unsheathed the green firmament sword. Just as the two rushed into the cave, and had yet to adapt to the dim environment, the green firmament sword shone with a biting cold light, and completely enveloped them. Stingy insects. Rumble. Thunder seemed to explode in the cave. A bright lightning with a deafening roar collided with the sword Qi of Xinghui's green firmament sword. Upon contact, Xinghui's green firmament sword Qi was completely shattered. Then, the fierce lightning Qi rolled onto the green firmament sword and entered Xinghui's body, causing his right hand to tremble. This kind of Qi, holy grade Qi, a spirit refining cultivator, who awakened the bloodline of a sacred beast and cultivated holy grade Qi. Even Baiyu would not be able to command such a person. Xinghui quickly retreated. He could rely on the green firmament sword to fight against an ordinary cultivator, who had cultivated holy grade Qi. But against an expert who cultivated holy grade Qi, kill. As Xinghui retreated, the spirit refining cultivator, who had cultivated holy grade Qi, chased after him. Although the quality of this spirit refining cultivator's Qi had not reached holy grade, he had awakened a speed-type spirit beast. His movement was unbelievably fast, catching up to Xinghui while he was retreating. A thunderous blow landed on Xinghui's body. Even though he blocked it with his sword at the critical moment, the Qi contained in the opponent's fist still passed through his sword and smashed into his body. His chest and ribs shattered. Like a cannonball, he was sent flying and crashed into the wall at the end of the cave. Qi. Spitting out blood, Xinghui's Qi plummeted. Don't kill him. We still have to ask him about the primal chaos technique. Of course. This is the key to becoming a son of primal chaos. How can I waste it? But for safety's sake, let's break this brat's limbs first. Two black-clothed and masked figures appeared. Son of primal chaos? In this world, only Xian Long knew that he was a son of primal chaos. And with the primal chaos oath, Xian Long could not betray him. Then Dawn. They were from Dawn. Qing Su quickly threw out an appraisal technique, which landed on the spirit refining cultivator, who had cultivated Saint Grade Aura Qi. Name unknown. Primal chaos level rank 8. Attack 36. Defense 35. Speed 33. Spirit 34. Primal chaos level, rank 8. Dawn was a small organization, with a total of 34 members. Among them, only 6 were above rank 5. Ling Yu, Song Song, Xingyao, Tianwen, Long Ke, and Blazing Glory. Ling Yu, Xingyao, and even Long Qiao were all experts at the realm of unity of God and Qi, so they could be eliminated. The only ones left were Song Song, Heaven's Inquisition, and Blazing Glory. Perhaps there were others like Qing Su who had concealed their true strength as Sons of Chaos, but there were still very few Sons of Chaos above the 5th rank. Song Song and Tian Wen had never interacted with him. The only one he had interacted with, Blazing Glory? Blazing Glory. Guessing in his heart, Sing Hui roared. The eyes of the masked man who had cultivated holy grade qi changed slightly. It was confirmed. Cripple him and slowly interrogate him. The other masked man called out. Like a cheetah, he lunged towards Ching Su with the shadow of death. Clang! Just as the masked man was about to tear apart Sing Hui's limbs, the green firmament sword in Sing Hui's hand emitted a dazzling sword ray. With unbelievable speed, it pierced towards the masked man. Be careful. Not good. The masked man thought that Sing Hui, who was only an awakening realm cultivator, was not worth mentioning. Who would have thought that he still had a hidden card? Facing Sing Hui's strength, that was not inferior to a late-stage spirit-refining cultivator, he could not react at all. He could only watch as the green firmament sword pierced through his throat, bringing with it a cluster of dark red blood. Spirit-refining realm? Die! Qi! With a flick of his sword, the green firmament sword struck out horizontally, and once again charged towards Yan Huang. The profundity of the first sword of the burning heaven 13 swords was displayed from the tip of his sword, evolving into a blazing cloud of fire that rolled towards Yan Huang. Heavenly fire burns the city. Rumble. Thunder roared. A terrifying, towering figure seemed to rise up from behind Yan Huang. With the crushing might of Mount Tai, the figure collided with Ching Su's city, incinerating heavenly flames viciously. A violent explosion and rumble immediately expanded through the cave. The cave shook, and countless stone fragments and dust rustled down, as if the entire cave was about to collapse. Kuei-Niao? Divine technique? You, your son of chaos, has actually reached rank 10. You have cultivated a divine technique. The two clashed. Blazing Glory was actually forced back 3 steps by Sing Hui. His eyes were filled with fear. However, after the fear, there was even more greed. So what if you have a divine technique? The divine technique has a time limit. As long as I can survive this period of time, only death awaits you. Ha ha ha. A rank 10 son of chaos, if sold, would definitely fetch a sky-high price. Pak Hui, today you will be mine. Blazing Glory laughed in surprise. His figure retreated as if he was about to escape, waiting for the time limit of the divine technique to pass. Chapter 74. However, even though he retreated quickly, Sing Hui was even faster. Brilliant sword intent. The Qing Xian sword shot out explosively from the space between the two of them. It turned into a jet-black profound light, and shot towards Yan Huang in an instant. Bang! Flames burst out. At the critical moment, a circle of talisman-like flowing light shot out from Yan Huang's body, and actually froze the Qing Xian sword in the air. One had to know that the strength of Sing Hui's sword intent was not inferior to that of a divine qi unison expert. When the flying sword shot out, an ordinary Gang Qi realm talisman would not be able to block the Qing Xian sword for even a moment. It was still frozen in the air, which showed the grade of Yan Huang's life-saving item. Flying sword. Yan Huang broke out in cold sweat. You actually have a flying sword? Good. I want this flying sword. Yan Huang's eyes shone brightly, and he actually erupted with an astonishing power to grab the Qing Xian sword tightly in his hand. With the help of the level 4 divine weapon gloves on his hand, he completely ignored the sharpness of the Qing Xian sword. His Gang Qi, which contained lightning, continuously erupted from his palm, shaking the spirituality of the Qing Xian sword in an attempt to take the flying sword for himself. Boom! Sword intent erupted. Under the stimulation of the lightning power, the Qing Xian sword seemed to explode into a blazing sun, emitting a blazing light. It actually managed to disperse the lightning power in Yan Huang's palm. At the same time, Sing Hui had already arrived. The Qingxiao sword stabbed out, and the blazing sword light was like a rainbow piercing through the sun. The divine technique was actually equivalent to a special technique that increased all attributes by 10 levels. However, this level 10 was not simply an increase in physical fitness by 10 levels. It could even create something out of nothing, allowing an awakening realm expert to produce true qi in his body, allowing a true qi realm expert to cultivate qi into Gang Qi, and allowing a qi unison realm expert to cultivate qi into Gang Qi. It was precisely because of this that level 10 was the dividing line between low-level Sons of Chaos and high-level Sons of Chaos. Once he could break through to the 10th level, he could use the divine art to sense the mysteries of higher realms in advance. The Son of Chaos would definitely be able to achieve twice the results with half the effort in his cultivation, and soar to the heavens. Just like now, Xing Hui's body was surging with boundless qi and blood. Under the mysterious effect, that boundless qi and blood had been completely condensed into Jin qi, surging violently, causing Xing Hui's sword to be like a raging inferno. Before the sword arrived, the blazing heat wave contained in the sword edge had already burned and distorted the air in the cave. Holy true energy! No, this is divine-grade true energy. Yan Huang, who was controlling the Qingxian sword with great difficulty, sensed the oppressive blazing power from the Qingxiao sword. His expression changed greatly, and he could no longer bother with the Qingxian sword as he retreated once again. No matter what, he had to wait for the duration of the divine art to pass before he could make any plans. Otherwise, he, blazing glory, would most likely die here today. You think you can leave? Without Yan Huang's suppression, the Qingxian sword once again shot out, forming an ear-piercing screech in the air. Yan Huang clearly only had one protective talisman on him. This time, even though he had activated his astral qi to the limit and covered his entire body, the Qingxian sword's blade still slashed across his throat. Rip! This sword strike only left a small wound on Yan Huang's body, but Xing Hui's precise control of the flying sword still shocked him. Damn it, he has a flying sword in his hand. Once he leaves the cave, he will definitely fly away on his sword. How will I kill him then? I have to restrain this flying sword. Seeing the Qingxian sword turn around and attack again, a cold light shot out from Yan Huang's eyes. He suddenly turned around and roared as he clasped his hands together, fiercely clasping the Qingxiao sword in his hands. Shatter! Rumble! Thunder shook. Surging thunder energy erupted from Yan Huang's palm, completely enveloping the Qingxian sword. Accompanied by a soft cry, the spirituality and sword intent on the Qingxian sword were quickly obliterated. Swish! Xing Hui's sword body trembled as he became one with the sword. Like a meteor striking the moon, he pierced towards Yan Huang in an instant, attempting to interrupt the attack that was destroying the spirituality and sword intent of the Qingxian sword. Defend the lightning disc. Facing Xing Hui's sword that was filled with surging heat waves, Yan Huang did not dodge at all. The astral qi around his body surged, and he actually allowed Xing Hui's sword to pierce through his astral qi and stab into his body. However, before Xing Hui could unleash the greatest damage from this sword strike, a black armor suddenly appeared on Yan Huang's body. A profound light flowed on the armor, and it quickly moved towards the place where the Qingxiao sword had pierced, causing the Qingxiao sword to be unable to move an inch further. Armor fused with genuine qi. Tier 4 armor. Xing Hui's pupils shrank. Amongst the many graded equipment, divine weapons were the cheapest, while armor was one level higher than divine weapons in terms of value. For the same grade, armor was usually 3 times more valuable than divine weapons. In other words, if Yan Huang's armor was sold, it could be exchanged for 3 Tier 4 divine weapons. Haha! The Defend the Lightning Disc is a defensive mystic art, and this mystic water armor is an upper-grade Tier 4 ultimate treasure. I use my Dao aura to exchange with a big shot for it. With the advantage of your Tier 3 divine weapon, it will take you at least 3 breaths to break my mystic water armor and defend the mystic water armor. These 3 breaths are enough for me to severely damage the spirituality of your flying sword. Once you lose your flying sword, you have no way out. Once the time limit of the divine art is up, let's see how you will escape from my palm. Tier 4 upper armor. Xing Hui's sword body trembled as he withdrew the Qingxiao sword. Tier 4 upper armor. Even if this armor's attributes were not compatible with Yan Huang's, it could still increase Yan Huang's defense by 5 levels. Given the Qingxiao sword's grade, it would take Yan Huang 3 breaths to break this Tier 4 armor, even if he stood still. 3 breaths. The spirituality of the Qingxian sword would indeed be severely damaged. At that time, before the spirituality of the Qingxian sword recovered, He would not be able to use this flying sword again. 13 Swords of Burning Heaven. I have mastered the first sword, Heaven Fire Burning City, and the second sword, Blazing Fire Burning Field. The second sword, Blazing Fire Burning Field, belongs to the group attack sword technique. Its power might not be inferior to Heaven Fire Burning City, to break the mystic water armor with one sword and deal a fatal blow to Yan Huang. Sword of the Glorious Sun. Only the Sword of the Glorious Sun, with his sword Dao talent raised to Tier 3. The Sword of the Glorious Sun that was like looking at flowers in the fog already had some ideas. But at this moment, Xinghui could not care so much. This sword must succeed. If he succeeded, he would break the mystic water armor and seize his life. If he failed, the spirituality of the Qingxian sword would be severely damaged. Once the time limit of his divine art was up, only death would await him. Boom! The sun exploded. Sword of the Glorious Sun. A sword technique that simulated the explosion of the sun. When Xinghui completely detonated the sun in his spiritual world, a blazing and violent energy surged out from his body, as if it was going to burst his entire body. Buzz! Buzz! Brilliant sword intent violently vibrated in the air. The burden of suppressing this violent energy had already reached the brink of collapse. Seeing that the sword intent was about to collapse, Xinghui could not care less. He condensed the power of the sun to the extreme and poured it all into the Qingxian sword, turning it into a resplendent glorious sun, and stabbed out. In the air, it was as if a blazing sun had lit up. The entire cave was illuminated, as if it was daytime by Xinghui's sword. Some dry things spontaneously combusted without fire. Blazing waves of fire rolled and engulfed the entire cave. This is Yan Huang, who was trying his best to erase the spirituality of the Qingxian sword, suddenly opened his eyes wide. Blazing sun. Blazing sun. Blazing sun. In this blazing sun, he seemed to see the blazing and resplendent sun that Sword Master Bai Heng had transformed into when he had left. That kind of power, suffocating. Sword Master Bai Heng actually bestowed you with an additional sword technique. This is Sword Master Bai Heng's sword technique. Not good. Sensing the explosive and terrifying power of the blazing sun, Yan Huang cried out in horror and was about to retreat, leaving the core range of the explosive power. However, he was currently using a defensive secret technique. This secret technique could greatly increase his defensive capabilities, but it came at the cost of his speed. Just as he was able to take half a step back, the blazing sun that was emitting a terrifying heat had already completely submerged his figure. No! Rumble! A violent explosion brazenly erupted in the narrow cave. The terrifying heat wave and destructive shock wave completely engulfed the two of them. Along with the quaking of the earth, the cave was finally unable to withstand the desperate battle between the two peak experts, and it collapsed with a loud bang. Countless boulders and dirt fell down, completely burying the cave. Time passed. After half a day, an arm suddenly appeared on the surface of the collapsed mountain. The arm waved and gradually pushed away the rocks and dirt covering his body. Not long later, a figure covered in mud and blood crawled out from the ground. Then, without caring about his image, he lay on the ground and gasped for breath. Yan Huang. The first to crawl out from the ground was Yan Huang. In the end, he was closer to the outside of the cave, which was why he managed to survive the collapse. Yan Huang rested for a moment and looked around with difficulty. His eyes were filled with the joy of escaping. I'm finally out. That bastard is really a madman. He actually used that sword technique at the last moment and wanted to perish together with me. How naive. My level 2 recovery ability is not for nothing. I can't force the primal chaos technique out of him, but to be able to obtain a level 4 flying sword is also an unexpected gain. The value of a flying sword is even higher than armor. However, without waiting for Yan Huang to catch his breath, in another direction, a figure also crawled out from the ground with difficulty. It was Xinghui. Seeing Xinghui in the same sorry state, Yan Huang's pupil shrank slightly. Then, he revealed an uncontrollable look of joy. Good, good, good. I thought I would miss the opportunity to become a level 5 son of chaos. I didn't expect the heavens to open their eyes and send you to me again. As Yan Huang spoke, He supported his body with difficulty and was about to stand up again. However, when he saw Xing Hui, who had crawled out, only shook his head and stood up straight with ease. Then he quickly walked in this direction. His heart trembled. "You, how can you recover so quickly?" Xing Hui did not say a word. Holding the Tai sword, he walked toward Yan Huang. As for the green firmament sword, this level 3 divine weapon could not withstand the uncontrollable violent power of the sword of the glorious sun, and directly exploded into pieces. "No. Stop. Stop. Ah." Xing Hui came in front of Yan Huang and stabbed out 4 times without hesitation, cutting off Yan Huang's 4 limbs. Fresh blood once again dyed his entire body red. Chapter 75. Phew. Xing Hui panted and sat down on the ground. Beside him, Blazing Glory screamed. Due to the excessive blood loss, he gradually became weak. "Your Excellency Pak Hui, let me go. As long as you're willing to let me go, I'll agree to anything. I'm willing to be your subordinate. I'm willing to serve you." Blazing Glory's eyes were pleading. "Your only way out is to sign the Chaos Oath," Xing Hui said. "The Chaos Oath requires 50 Taoist rhymes. I don't have that many. Even if I want to sign the Chaos Oath, I'm powerless." Blazing Glory looked pitiful and sincere. "Your Excellency Pak Hui, please believe me. As long as you let me go this time, I'm willing to swear to the heavens that from now on, I won't dare to be disloyal to your orders. I'll be at your beck and call. Your Excellency Pak Hui." Qing Su shook his head. "You're a Class 8 son of chaos. Even if you lose 5 levels of chaos, you can still break the Oath of Chaos. Even if you swear the Oath of Chaos, I won't trust you completely. As a result, I'll be interrogating you for your method of chaos now. You know very well what happens to sons of chaos if they end up in the hands of others. Do you need to try and see if you can survive my interrogation?" When Blazing Glory heard this, the fear in his eyes reached its peak. He couldn't help but say, "No, no, no, Your Excellency Pak Hui, on account of the fact that we're both members of Dawn, give me a chance. I swear that from now on, if I dare to be disloyal to you, I'll be struck by lightning." Xing Hui didn't say anything. He raised his sword and was about to stab down at Blazing Glory's dantian. "Wait, wait. Your Excellency Pak Hui, please wait. I'm willing to submit to you. I remember now. Although I don't have 50 Taoist rhymes, I have a Chaos Oath. I'm willing to sign the Chaos Oath and serve Your Excellency Pak Hui from now on." Chaos Oath. The Chaos Oath was a special item. It was equivalent to an advanced version of the Chaos Oath. Unlike the Chaos Oath, which could only be signed between Sons of Chaos, the Chaos Oath could be signed in the form of an item. As for the method to obtain the Chaos Oath, let a Son of Chaos above the 10th level return to Chaos. Xing Hui's gaze landed on Yan Huang. Yan Huang hurriedly explained. "The primal chaos inheritance I received was from a level 14 Eternal Life Stage 5 Green Netherworld Realm expert. He fought with another level 10 Son of Chaos, who was also in the Green Netherworld realm, until both sides were injured. In the end, I took advantage of the situation." "You're willing to turn a 10th level Son of Chaos into a Chaos contract?" Yan Huang smiled bitterly. "That Son of Chaos injuries are too severe. His life is hanging by a thread, and he can't be saved. If I hadn't agreed to help him kill another level 14 Son of Chaos, I'm afraid I wouldn't even have been able to obtain this Chaos contract." Xing Hui looked at Yan Huang. Needless to say, the fortuitous encounters Xian Long obtained completely paled in comparison to him. Perhaps this was also the reason why Yan Huang was able to cultivate to the spirit-refining realm, and even awaken the sacred beast's bloodline, while Xian Long was just an ordinary person, a level 8 Son of Chaos who had awakened the sacred beast's bloodline and cultivated holy grade astral qi. Xing Hui guessed that Yan Huang didn't want to violate the Chaos contract and be killed by the Chaos Temple to escape the pain of being tortured by him for the primal Chaos technique. Thinking of the threat Baiyu brought, he nodded slightly. "Hand over the Chaos contract." Yan Huang didn't dare to hesitate, and handed over the Chaos contract with great difficulty. His 4 limbs had been pierced by Xing Hui, but his level 2 recovery ability allowed him to move slightly in this short period of time. Xinghui immediately wrote down his rights on the chaos contract. Absolutely loyal subject. Never deceived, obey orders, and so on. Yan Huang looked at the contract one by one, and finally raised his head with a bitter expression. Your Excellency Pak Hui, I only hope that you can take into account that we're both members of Dawn and add one more condition, which is to preserve my dignity. Living without dignity is no different from death. As long as you don't disobey my orders, I won't do anything that humiliates your dignity. Many thanks. Yan Huang lowered his head and finally signed his name. Following the signing, the chaos contract suddenly ignited and turned into a flame, disappearing without a trace. Greetings, Master. Yan Huang immediately knelt down and bowed to Xinghui. Tell me your true identity. This subordinate is the master of the overseas Luli Island. An overseas force? Xinghui glanced at Yan Huang and nodded. On the mainland, the 10 great saint sects were the kings. But overseas, there were countless islands scattered all over. Strictly speaking, overseas could be divided into the inner sea and outer sea. The outer sea referred to the sea that was 100,000 kilometers away from the eastern wasteland coastline. There were many peak-level beasts, spirit beasts, sacred beasts, and even divine beasts. The inner sea referred to the sea that was 100,000 kilometers away from the coastline. Those that lived on these islands were basically experts that were suppressed by the 10 great saint sections. They had no choice but to go overseas to establish their sect. The overseas forces that people often talked about referred to the inner sea. Although there were many experts in these forces, and their numbers were as numerous as the stars in the sky, their quality was far from being comparable to the 10 great saint sections. Yan Huang, who was a spirit refining realm cultivator, was definitely one of the overlords of the overseas. How did you find out my location? Xinghui rested for a moment and asked. In fact, it is not difficult to find Master's location. I still remember the direction Master left in half a year ago, coupled with the information I got from my Master. For cultivation, you naturally need a quiet and relatively safe place. Master's cultivation is in the awakening realm, so your range of activity can also be defined. Since you are cultivating, and have been cultivating for half a year, the best place to live is naturally a cave. A cave is near a mountain, and living requires water. With these clues and layers of searching, you will naturally be able to find Master's location. Xinghui did not expect that he would reveal so much information. It seemed that he would have to be careful in the future. This cave has collapsed. We can't stay here any longer. There is a small cave 10 kilometers away from here. Let's go there first. Yes, Yan Huang respectfully responded, and the two quickly arrived at the new cave. Next, it was time to recuperate. Even though Qing Su seemed to be recovering faster than Blazing Glory, he still had not gained complete control over the Sword of Sun after all. In the final moment, he lost control of his power and exploded, so his internal injuries were even worse than Blazing Glory's. Even with the third step recovery ability, he still needed 10 whole days to recover. As Xinghui's injuries recovered, he had a new understanding of the transformation of his blood, qi, and Jun qi, because of the sacred art and the bloody battle with Yan Huang. Seeing that it was impossible to push his attributes to the 29th rank in a short period of time, coupled with the dangers of the battle with Yan Huang, he no longer hesitated. Protect me, Xinghui ordered Yan Huang. After Yan Huang respectfully responded and returned to the cave entrance, the blood and qi in his body had already surged crazily. According to the Torch Sun Sutra's refining void and returning to reality method, it was constantly compressing towards his dantian, changing void and reality, refining void and returning to reality. The rank 3 recovery ability gave him a strong physique, so he was not afraid of squeezing his potential. The blood and qi in his body surged and boiled compress, compress, and compress again. Condense, condense, and condense again. Finally, as the first blood and qi was completely condensed and turned into Jin qi, his whole body seemed to have caused a kind of quantitative change to a qualitative change. His blood and qi were all turned into Jin qi, wantonly surging in his meridians and acupoints. Jin qi success. The moment the Jin qi was condensed, Xinghui had already circulated one of them, and condensed it at his fingertip. Feeling the blazing aura contained in this Zhenqi, there was a trace of gratification in his eyes. Peerless grade. At least he did not destroy a good divine beast bloodline. In fact, the majestic blood and qi brought about by the 26th attribute was already enough for a cultivator to cultivate peerless grade Zhenqi. It was just that Xinghui only had an ordinary divine cannon in his hands. In order to ensure that nothing went wrong, he chose the 4th stage of liberation. Fortunately, the final result did not disappoint him. Congratulations, Master, on stepping into the realm of Zhenqi and cultivating divine grade Zhenqi. Yan Huang, who was at the entrance of the cave, saw the extremely condensed Zhenqi at Xinghui's fingertip and immediately bowed to congratulate him. His eyes were filled with envy. As early as when Xinghui defeated him with the help of the divine technique, he faintly sensed that Xinghui had most likely awakened a divine beast bloodline. Now it seems it was indeed so. The realm of Zhenqi is only the 2nd stage of immortal life. It is still very far from stepping into the realm of strong cultivators. Master has cultivated divine grade Zhenqi. Once the Zhenqi is formed, I'm afraid it is enough to stand shoulder to shoulder with ordinary spirit refining cultivators. If you use the divine technique at the crucial moment, you might even have the strength to fight against the overlords of the spirit and qi unity realm, who are qualified to be elders of the 10 great sections. Xinghui shook his head. Which spirit and qi unity realm cultivator did not have 1 or 2 rank 4 divine weapons? Perhaps if other factors were to be disregarded, he would not be afraid of those overlords of the spirit and qi unity realm who had cultivated ordinary earth qi. However, if he were to fight against the elders of the 10 great sects, he would still be lacking. Once the Zhenqi was formed, his cultivation would naturally be consolidated. Xinghui followed the cultivation method of the Scarlet Yang Zhenqi in the Torch Sun Sutra. Every day, he swallowed the Sun True Essence at noon, continuously refining and polishing it, causing the Scarlet Yang Zhenqi to become more blazing and violent. Once the Scarlet Yang Zhenqi entered the body, not only would it burn like a raging fire, it could also be detonated with a thought, causing the target to be blasted into nothingness. 10 days passed in the blink of an eye. After stabilizing his Zhenqi, Xinghui walked out of the cave and took out the Tai sword. With a shake of the sword qi shot out. However, before this burst of sword qi could tear the ancient tree in front of him into pieces, his left arm had already reached out with his bare hands. Wrapped in crimson yang genuine qi, he actually used his flesh and blood to grab this fierce sword qi and crushed it in one fell swoop. After a moment, he casually flipped his hand, and a rank 1 divine weapon from the Dragon Spring Mansion appeared in his hand. Zizi. As the Scarlet Yang Zhenqi surged out of his palm, this rank 1 divine weapon that could destroy metal like mud was actually burned into molten iron by the blazing power of the Scarlet Yang Zhenqi. The Scarlet Yang Zhenqi is really domineering. Xinghui casually threw this divine weapon into his personal storage and glanced at his own attributes. Attack level 34, defense level 30, speed level 31, spirit level 45. Even though the Torch Dragon was a mysterious divine beast, and would have mysterious and unfathomable powers in the later stages, under the influence of the Golden Crow divine beast's bloodline, his Zhenqi gradually showed signs of being biased. Fortunately, compared to the extreme speed type divine beast Kuan-Peng and the defensive type divine beast Han-Dun, the bias of these 3 attributes was not too exaggerated. Chapter 76. I've already reached the true energy realm with the Illuminating Sun Sutra, but I haven't obtained the cultivation method of the Golden Crow bloodline. If I can activate the power of the Golden Crow bloodline and refine my true energy with the power of the Sun Primordial Flame, I dare not say anything else, but my attack value will increase by at least 2 to 3 levels. Fortunately, the Illuminating Sun Sutra was relatively mysterious, peaceful, and not very aggressive. If he had cultivated the Golden Crow bloodline to the true energy realm, Xinghui estimated that his Illuminating Dragon bloodline would have been devoured by the Golden Crow bloodline, and cultivating two bloodlines at the same time would have become a joke. I have to find a cultivation method of the Golden Crow bloodline as soon as possible. Compared to the mysterious illuminating dragon bloodline, the Golden Crow bloodline is easier to find. The most obvious target is the Jinwu religion. The Jinwu religion's ultimate cultivation method is the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, a godly cultivation method. Considering that he had used up all the resources he had prepared, Xinghui said to Yan Huang, "Let's leave the Yunhuang mountain range." "Yes. How much do you know about the Jinwu religion?" The Jinwu religion is one of the 10 great holy clans. Although they don't have any saint-level figures who have reached the immortal stage 6, this sect has a very deep foundation. Furthermore, I can be sure that this sect definitely has a level 10 son of chaos who has reached the immortal stage 6. Yan Huang said, "Immortal stage 6, level 10 son of chaos." There was no need to elaborate on what this combination meant. In fact, the reason why the sacred grounds are called sacred grounds is because they have saints in their sections. For example, the Wanxiang City, the Heavenly Medicine Alliance, and the Alchemy Valley also have immortality level 6 experts. They are independent of the 10 great sacred clans, but they still have to endure the exploitation of the 10 great sacred clans, because their sects do not have immortality level 6 experts. Xinghui had heard of Wanxiang City, Heavenly Medicine Alliance, and Alchemy Valley. They were famous top forces in the Eastern Wilderness, second only to the 10 great holy clans. "I want to obtain the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. Do you have a way?" The Sun Golden Crow skill is the most important skill of the Jinwu religion. Usually, only the disciples of the hierarch, the deputy hierarch, and the Dharma King are qualified to practice it. As for the ordinary disciples, they don't even think about it. Even the disciples of the hierarch and the Dharma King are only taught one level at a time. They will never teach them all the cultivation skills of the 6 realms of immortality in one go. Every person who is qualified to practice the Sun Golden Crow skill must have awakened the bloodline of the top sacred beasts. Only in this way can the cultivation of the Sun Golden Crow skill not waste resources. Amulet? Seal one's true chi and earth chi in the jade talisman, and use it to defend at the crucial moment? It's not that simple. Master should know that the true chi and earth chi of the spirit chi unite realm have spirituality. They can defend and attack on their own. However, due to the distance and the quality of the jade talisman, the spirituality of the true chi is only comparable to that of a spirit refining realm cultivator. But in the Qingming realm, after comprehending the intersection of heaven and man, the remaining true chi in the jade talisman can absorb the energy of heaven and earth to replenish itself. Depending on the quality of the jade talisman, it can even simulate 1/10 of the power of the talisman maker. In other words, if a peak Qingming realm cultivator makes a talisman, the power it can unleash is equivalent to that of an initial stage Qingming realm cultivator. Initial stage Qingming realm, the power in the jade talisman can only unleash a single attack. Even the Dharma King, the deputy hierarch, and the deputy hierarch of the 10 great holy clans, as their cultivation increases, their divine beast bloodline may only be able to cultivate high-grade true chi, and the high-grade true chi will fall to mid-grade earth chi by the time they reach the Qingming realm. Less than 1/10 of them can maintain the might of the sacred beasts. But even so, even 1/10 of their power was still far from something he could block with his current strength. Either he can obtain a rank 6 defensive armor, or he can step into the spirit refining realm with divine grade earth chi. And with the help of the sacred technique, although the Torch Sun Sutra is relatively mild, once he breaks through to the spirit refining realm, the two suns will lose balance and will inevitably devour the Golden Crow. Does Luli Island have spies in the Jinwu religion? The overseas forces have many spies in the 10 great holy clans. In case the 10 great holy clans make a move, Yan Huang carefully asked, "Does Master want to find a suitable target?" "That's right." Xinghui nodded. "Let the spies in the Jinwu religion find a suitable person." "This is easy, there will be news soon." Xinghui's gaze fell on Yan Huang. "You have obtained the inheritance of 2 Qingming realm experts, so you should have a lot of good things on you. I need a divine weapon, take it out." Yan Huang had already made similar preparations in his heart, and immediately said, "One of the two Qingming realm experts I obtained is a sword user, but I did not open my personal space, and I left all those precious things in a secret place overseas. If Master needs them, I'm afraid you'll have to follow me overseas." "You did not open your personal space. How did you arrange this rank 8 Son of Primal Chaos?" "I have a rank 2 recovery characteristic, rank 4 comprehension, rank 1 fist art talent, and rank 1 advanced technique." Rank 4 comprehension? Xing Hui did not expect Yan Huang to put half of his points into comprehension. "My original plan was to be good at everything, so I chose to focus on comprehension. The recovery characteristic was because I was injured too heavily and was afraid of leaving behind hidden injuries, so I had no choice but to raise it to rank 2. If not for that, I am afraid that my comprehension would have reached rank 5. Yan Huang's words made Xing Hui nod secretly. As a rank 15 Son of Primal Chaos, many things seemed to be a waste. For example, divine skill and rank advancement skill. There was no need for rank 2 divine skill and rank 1 advancement skill. The 2 chaos ranks that were freed up could be used on his comprehension and talent in swordsmanship. Unfortunately, there was no medicine for regret in this world. "Alright, then let's go overseas, but before that, let's go to Eastern Cloud Capital." "Yes." Immediately, the two of them flew up and headed out of the desolate Cloud Mountain range. After running for a while, he seemed to have thought of something and said to Yan Huang, "Go at full speed. We will meet at the east gate of Eastern Cloud Capital." With that, he pointed his finger, and the Qingxian sword whistled out. As Xing Hui leaped, he stepped onto the Qingxian sword, which had recovered its spirituality. Then, he activated his true qi and accelerated at full speed, piercing through the clouds and into the Qingming realm. Seeing this, Yan Huang's eyes were filled with envy. He had obtained the treasures left behind by the two Qingming realm experts, but their flying swords were damaged. In addition, flying swords were precious, so he had not been able to buy them until now. Rumble! The air exploded, and Xing Hui's sword kinesis flight broke the sound barrier. 350 kilometers per hour, 360 kilometers per hour, 380 kilometers per hour, 400 kilometers per hour, 420 kilometers per hour. Cultivating true qi and not cultivating true qi were two different concepts. The sword kinesis flight, which could only reach 300 kilometers per hour, was easily broken by him, reaching 450 kilometers per hour, flying at supersonic speed. Under normal circumstances, he could even maintain a speed between 300 kilometers per hour to 350 kilometers per hour. It was not an exaggeration to say that this speed was as fast as lightning. Xing Hui soared through the sky with his sword kinesis flight, crossing the sea of clouds. Looking at the blazing sun above his head, an unprecedented sense of pride welled up in his heart. Compared to heaven and earth, the lives of humans were too insignificant. However, there would be a day when he would conquer the entire heaven and earth bit by bit, step by step, and see clearly what this heaven and earth, this world, was like. Just as Xing Hui soared through the sky with his sword kinesis flight, a violent roar came from afar, as if exploding at the end of the sky. Xing Hui looked as far as his eyes could see, and saw 4 flying ships engaged in a fierce exchange of fire in the void more than 10 kilometers away. Blazing cannonballs were fired from 3 flying ships. No, it should be a warship. Moreover, this was a 2-on-1 battle. Cannonballs and energy cannons were fired from 2 of the warships, hitting the body of the warship and exploding. Even though the warship tried its best to defend and dodge, it was still on the verge of collapse. A large amount of flames and smoke filled the warship, as if it would completely disintegrate in the void and fall to the ground in the next moment. This kind of aerial battle, which was similar to that of the 19th century on Earth, aroused Xing Hui's curiosity. He could not help but soar into the sky and watch from afar. However, when he saw the familiar flag hanging on the battleship that was being surrounded, his heart skipped a beat. That flag. It seemed to be the flag of Dragon Chant Island. And the owner of Divine Armament Tower, Xian Long, He was from Dragon Chant Island. Dragon Chant Island's warship has appeared here. Considering that Xian Long had been cautious and conscientious in handling matters for him during this period, Xing Hui immediately mounted his sword and rapidly flew toward the 3 warships. As his figure approached, 2 of the warships clearly sensed his presence. Immediately, someone on the deck waved a flag and asked him to temporarily avoid them. A person who could use a flying sword must have an extraordinary background. However, Xing Hui came to save Dragon Chant Island's warship, so he naturally ignored them and landed on one of the warships. Then, the Tai sword vibrated, and before the 3 experts of the genuine energy realm could speak, it had already shot toward them. Damn it! The leading experts of the genuine energy realm roared angrily, and similarly shot out sword chi, and held their divine weapons in a futile attempt to counterattack. However, in front of Xing Hui's Crimson Yang genuine energy, the sword chi they shot out was like tofu, and was easily defeated. The sword chi that burst out continued to shoot toward the expert of the genuine energy realm. What a tyrannical genuine energy! That expert of the genuine energy realm reacted quickly, and his genuine energy burst forth at the first moment, blocking with his sword. However, divine-grade genuine energy was much stronger than ordinary genuine energy. Even though that expert of the genuine energy realm made a defensive posture with his sword, he was still instantly pierced through by the Crimson Yang genuine energy and died on the spot. This scene fell into the eyes of the remaining 2 experts of the genuine energy realm and made them widen their eyes. This power, could it be the Golden Crow genuine energy? You're from the Jinwu religion? Sir, from the Jinwu religion. Our Black Dragon Gang has no enmity with the Jinwu religion. Why do you want to kill us? A knowledgeable expert of the genuine energy realm couldn't help but cry out in horror. Black Dragon Gang? It seemed to be a mercenary organization. Xing Hui didn't answer. Sword chi shot out in all directions, and in an instant, all 3 experts of the genuine energy realm were killed. Then, he killed his way into the interior of the warship and destroyed the warship's power system, causing the warship to rapidly fall to the ground. After destroying this warship, Xing Hui turned around, rose on his sword again, and shot toward another warship. Chapter 77. Oh no, he's coming. Crossbows. Fire. Fire. When they saw Qing Su fly over, the 2 true Qi cultivators on the other battleship immediately cried out, as they understood that Qing Su had come with ill intentions. A large number of arrows and ballistae shot out from the battleship, forming a small dark cloud that enveloped the area. In the face of these powerful arrows that could penetrate iron armor, Xing Hui pressed his hand down. A blazing true energy turned into 4 fiery red sword chis in front of him, constantly strangling him. All the arrows that were shot at him were shattered before they could come within 1 meter of him. Withstanding the rain of arrows, he directly landed on the warship and immediately rushed to the true energy realm leader. Our Black Dragon Gang was invited by Hunyuan Heaven Sect's Fairy by you to do something. You, a disciple of the Jinwu religion, dared to go against a true disciple of Hunyuan Heaven Sect in the territory of Hunyuan Heaven Sect. Fairy Bai Yu will never let you go. The true energy realm leader knew that he was no match for Xing Hui, so he immediately shouted fiercely, Bai Yu, you're courting death. Xing Hui's expression turned cold. The next moment his figure suddenly pounced. Red Yang true energy erupted. No matter how hard the true energy realm expert tried to resist, he was still penetrated by the overbearing and blazing red Yang true energy, and died on the spot. Then, under the miserable screams of the other members of the Black Dragon Gang on the warship, he did the same thing, and once again killed his way to the power system. He destroyed the power system of the warship, and let it fall to the ground. After doing all this, Xing Hui flew up on his sword again, and landed on the warship with the flag of Dragon Chant Island. As soon as Xing Hui arrived, the 4 Awakening Realm experts on the warship came up to him at the same time, and respectfully saluted. Thank you for your help, sir. Dragon Chant Island is very grateful. After saluting Xing Hui, one of the Awakening Realm experts seemed to recognize him, and cautiously asked in surprise, "Sir, are you Prince Tsinghui?" Tsinghui's gaze landed on the Awakening Realm cultivator. This Awakening Realm cultivator was not young, but he had an extraordinary temperament. After noticing Tsinghui's gaze, he quickly introduced himself. "I'm Jingyin, one of Miss Nalin's followers." "I'm Tsinghui." Tsinghui responded. Under the surprised gazes of the four, he turned his gaze to the remaining 3 Awakening Realm cultivators. After noticing that one of them was 60% similar to Xian Long, he asked, "Are you the island master of Dragon Chant Island, Long Xiao?" "That's me. My son has already met Prince Tsinghui." Long Xiao bowed respectfully to Tsinghui. Not because of the kinship between Tsinghui and Nalin Fei, but because of Tsinghui's powerful strength, when he easily killed his way into the 2 battleships and destroyed the 2 battleships despite the presence of several true Qi experts. How did Dragon Chant Island get together with Aunt Nalin's people? Long Xiao and Jingyin looked at each other. In the end, Jingyin stepped forward and said, "Prince Tsinghui should have been cultivating in the wilderness for the past few months. He should not have stepped into any of the 9 great nations of Eastern Cloud, right?" "That's right." Hearing Tsinghui's words, Jingyin glanced at him and said with a wry smile, "This matter started 8 months ago. 8 months ago, Prince Tsinghui killed Fairy Baiyu's sister, young Master Long Quan, causing Fairy Baiyu to be furious and almost go crazy. She actually brought people to the Lorraine Kingdom and planned to massacre the Cloud Desolate City." Tsinghui's expression turned slightly cold. Even though he didn't have much feelings for the Zhuo family of Cloud Desolate City, this body was still obtained from Chou Tsinghui, and Chou Tsinghui was a member of the Zhuo family. He naturally couldn't just watch as the Zhuo family was destroyed. Moreover, Fairy Baiyu wanted to massacre the Cloud Desolate City, so what did this have to do with him? And then, what happened to the Zhuo family of Cloud Desolate City? Fortunately, Princess Lan Yu understood the seriousness of the matter after young Master Long Quan died, and immediately informed Miss Nalin of the matter. Miss Nalin knew Fairy Baiyu's character, and led people to chase after her. Before Fairy Baiyu was about to massacre the Cloud Desolate City, she stopped her crazy actions. At this point, Jingyin paused for a moment, and with a trace of resentment he continued. "At that time, Miss Nalin and Fairy Baiyu had a great battle. Although Fairy Baiyu had already stepped into the spirit refining realm, she could only condense a mid-grade spirit rank aura chi. Even though she had been in the spirit refining realm for many years, she was still not Miss Nalin's opponent, and was defeated by Miss Nalin. However, because of this battle, Fairy Baiyu completely shed all pretense of cordiality." "He dealt with all the forces related to me?" "Yes." Tsinghui glanced at Long Xiao. "Is Dragon Chant Island also included?" "Yes." "Very good." Tsinghui asked, "Where is she now?" Jingyin was slightly startled and had a bad premonition. "Prince Tsinghui, what are you going to do?" "Prince Tsinghui, what you need to do now is to go to the Lorraine Kingdom as soon as possible. Currently, Miss Nalin has brought everyone to the Lorraine Kingdom and is personally overseeing the battle with Fairy Baiyu." Long Xiao echoed from the side. The 5 true Qi realm experts of the Black Dragon Guild were instructed by Fairy Baiyu to destroy our Dragon Chant Island. Fortunately, Mr. Jingyin led a few experts to come to our aid at the critical moment. Otherwise, I'm afraid our Dragon Chant Island would have been flooded with blood. At this point he quickly added, "Of course, we have to thank Prince Tsinghui for taking action. If not for Prince Tsinghui, even if we could escape Dragon Chant Island, under the pursuit of the Black Dragon Guild's 2 warships, it would be difficult to escape the fate of death." "Lorraine Kingdom?" Tsinghui turned to Jingyin. "Auntie Nalin can't do anything to Baiyu. Although Baiyu is powerful and has as many experts as the clouds under her, Miss Nalin's Saint-grade aura chi is extremely fierce. Ordinary spirit refining experts are no match for her. If it were a life-and-death battle, Miss Nalin could kill her by decapitation. However, the 2 of them are Hunyuan Heaven Sect's true disciples after all. Moreover, they have cultivated to the spirit refining realm, which is enough to represent Hunyuan Heaven Sect's face. If they were to abandon everything and fight to the death, what would it be? Wouldn't it be a joke to the other forces in the world? Therefore, Peak Master Yuankong has said that Miss Nalan and Baiyu cannot directly take action and can only let their subordinates fight to the death. The time limit is 1 year. After 1 year, regardless of the result, the grudges between the two will be written off. Letting his subordinates fight to the death, Hunyuan Heaven Sect's Peak Master Yuankong is obviously on Baiyu's side. Although Nalan Fei has stepped into the spirit refining realm and cultivated Saint Grade Aura Qi, she has just stepped into the spirit refining realm and has yet to manage her own forces. Her subordinates are most likely in the awakening realm and true Qi realm. Being able to recruit 1 or 2 spirit refining realm cultivators is the limit. But Baiyu, not to mention that she has stepped into the spirit refining realm for many years. She has always been the Peak Master Yuankong's right-hand man. She can often borrow the Peak Master Yuankong's name to intimidate others. The forces she can recruit are far from what Nalan Fei can compare to. Just like the Black Dragon Society, 5 true Qi realm cultivators, this force is enough to threaten the Luo Lin royal family's rule. Fairy Baiyu has followed Sky Origin Peak Lord for dozens of years and has always been loyal to him. Even if Sky Origin Peak Lord is biased towards her, he can't do anything about it. Fortunately, Miss Nalan is not without any power behind her. This time, in order to protect the Zhou family, Miss Nalan specially invited 3 spirit refining elders from the Nalan family. These 3 elders are stationed in the Luo Lin capital. As long as we can escape back to the capital, Fairy Baiyu's people will not dare to take another step forward. As Jingyan spoke, he turned to Tsinghui and said, "The one Fairy Baiyu wants to kill the most is you, Prince Tsinghui." Once Prince Tsinghui is exposed, Baiyu will definitely take revenge. Thus, for the sake of safety, we should return to the Luo Lin royal capital as soon as possible. Luo Lin royal capital. Baiyu is a direct disciple of the Hunyuan Heaven Sect. Nalan Fei is also a member of the Hunyuan Heaven Sect, and is also under the Peak Master Yuankong's control. Baiyu cannot kill her, but Nalan Fei cannot, but He Tsinghui can. However, killing Long Quan had led to trouble like Baiyu. If killing Baiyu led to even greater trouble, even involving the Zhou family of Cloud Desolate City, Qing Su would feel rather apologetic. He still had to ask about it first. "I'll go see Auntie Nalan." Prince Tsinghui should indeed return immediately to avoid causing more trouble. "We should hurry to the Luo Lin royal capital," Jingyan said. Tsinghui glanced at Jingyan. He could see the dissatisfaction in the heart of this follower of Nalan Fei. He reckoned that it wasn't just him. After causing such a big trouble, it was reckoned that everyone under Nalan Fei's tutelage had complaints about him. The group boarded the warship and headed straight for the Luo Lin royal capital. On the way to the Luo Lin royal capital, Tsinghui sent a portion of his consciousness into the Chaos Temple and found Yan Huang, who was inquiring about the Jinwu religion's whereabouts through the Heaven's Secret Pavilion. Seeing Tsinghui, Yan Huang followed his previous instructions and nodded on the surface before continuing to talk with Heaven's Inquisition. After the two finished talking, they found Tsinghui again. The two left Lingyu's personal space, and then Tsinghui used the power of his personal space to pull Yan Huang into his personal space. "I haven't set up the space yet. Do as you wish," Tsinghui said. Yan Huang looked around with envy. The personal space is indeed very convenient. Unfortunately, I didn't understand the importance of the personal space and didn't point it out. "You're heading to the Eastern Cloud Royal Capital now?" "Yes. Don't wait for me when you reach the Eastern Cloud Royal Capital. Take the flying ship directly to the Luo Lin Royal Capital." Yan Huang didn't understand, but he didn't dare to go against Tsinghui's words. "Yes. Did you just inquire about the Jinwu religion?" "Yes. In the Golden Crow sect, there are a total of 13 people who have cultivated the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, of course. This is the data that we have inquired about. For a sect like this, there are bound to be hidden experts among the 13. There are 6 who have cultivated the third layer technique, and 3 who are not. If Master needs the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, these 3 can be our targets. Tell me, These three are the disciple of the Jin Wu religion's vice leader Luo Rieo, Xian Yan, the daughter of Burning Heaven Dharma King Lai Ji, Lai Wuyang, and one of the 6 disciples of the Jin Wu religion's leader Zhu Xian, Qi Wu. Vice leader, Dharma King leader. Needless to say, the vice leader and Dharma King were the top figures in the Immortal Realm 5. As for the leader Zhu Xian, he was definitely at the peak of the Immortal Realm 6. This was common knowledge. If one wasn't at the peak of the Immortal Realm, one wouldn't be qualified to be the leader of the 10 sacred sections. Excluding the leader's disciple Qi Wu, the target is either Xian Yan or Lai Wuyang. Gather information on them, the more detailed the better. Yes. Chapter 78. The Lorraine Royal Capital. At this time, the Lorraine Royal Capital could be described as turbulent. Not to mention the second-class forces such as Hunyuan, the Cloud Forest House, and the Beast Hunters Union. Even the Lorraine royal family restrained their sharpness and reprimanded their children not to wantonly show off in the royal capital. The entire royal capital was shrouded in an oppressive atmosphere because of the battle between Nalan Fei and Fairy Bayou. The city gates, the airport, and the main streets were filled with the subordinates, spies, and spies of the 2 Hunyuan Heaven Sect true disciples. Awakening stage and true Qi stage experts shuttled back and forth in the royal capital, looking for opportunities to weaken their opponents. At this moment, the 2 Hunyuan Heaven Sect true disciples exerted their influence to the extreme. Even if only the tip of the iceberg was revealed, it was enough to make many princes and first-class forces of the Lorraine Kingdom tremble with fear. Under such circumstances, the severely damaged worshipped Xing Hui, Long Xiao, Jing Yun, and the others landed in the airport of the Lorraine royal capital and naturally attracted everyone's attention. Are they from Dragon Chant Island? A small force like Dragon Chant Island dares to intervene in a battle of this level. Aren't they afraid of being crushed to pieces? It's not up to them. The son of Dragon Chant Island's master, Long Xiao, has sided with Cho Tsing Hui, and Cho Tsing Hui is the target that Fairy Bayou wants to kill the most. Cho Tsing Hui caused a disaster and directly fled like a tortoise, leaving all the trouble to Miss Nalan and his friends. Fairy Bayou can't catch him, so she can only vent her anger on the people related to him. Hey! As early as when Cho Tsing Hui was in the royal capital, I saw that Cho Tsing Hui was simply a troublemaker. The Beast Hunters Union and the third prince's residence were the same. Now that he provoked someone he can't afford to offend, I'd like to see how he's going to deal with it. What do you mean he's going to deal with it? He's going to continue to be a tortoise. Hasn't he been hiding for more than half a year? I think he's going to keep hiding. Isn't that so? Watching the warship belonging to Dragon Chant Island descend, many forces who were waiting to watch a good show began to discuss among themselves. Some of the spectators belonged to the local forces of the Lorraine Kingdom, but there were also many spies representing other true disciples of the Hunyuan Heaven Sect. There were even spies from other sacred sects who specialized in collecting information about the Hunyuan Heaven Sect's true disciples. These people were well informed. In the past half a year, they had already thoroughly investigated the grudges between the 2 true disciples of the Hunyuan Heaven Sect. Right then, an expert of the Union of Demon Hunters, who had been paying attention to the passers-by in the airport, suddenly widened his eyes. Looking at Xing Hui, who was walking to the airport side by side with Long Xiao, Jing Yun, and the other Awakening Realm experts, he exclaimed, "That's Cho Tsing Hui. It's Cho Tsing Hui. It's really Cho Tsing Hui. I've seen him before. He actually appeared. Cho Tsing Hui. It's really him." It's said that Cho Tsing Hui's cultivation is only in the Awakening Realm, and it hasn't been long since he awakened. But Bayou offered a rank 4 divine weapon as a reward for killing him. Many spirit-refining realm rogue cultivators and giant demons are searching for his whereabouts, vainly trying to kill him and obtain the reward. Amidst the exclamations, everyone's gaze fell on Xing Hui at the same time. Among them, a few old men with true Qi realm cultivation were even brighter. While staring at Xing Hui, their gazes constantly scanned the surroundings, as if they were about to attack and kill Xing Hui. However, at this time, a group of people who had already received the news quickly greeted Long Xiao, Jing Yan, Xing Hui, and the others. The leader had reached the advanced stage of the True Qi realm. Cho Xing Hui? The advanced stage True Qi realm. Old man looked at Xing Hui with some repulsion. After seeing that he seemed to have reached the True Qi realm, a faint trace of surprise flashed across his face. He nodded and said in a deep voice, "Young miss is waiting for you in the courtyard. Follow us." This brat is Cho Xing Hui? A guy who only knows how to stir up trouble. Behind the old man, a relatively young man directly vented his dissatisfaction and said sternly, "Do you know how many losses we've suffered because of you? Yu Yang, shut up." The old man reprimanded the young man. Perhaps Xing Hui's ability to stir up trouble is extraordinary, but he has a talent that is worth young miss trying her best to protect. After hearing the old man's words, Yu Yang seemed to have seen Xing Hui's cultivation clearly. He immediately revealed a shocked expression. You've cultivated true qi? How is that possible? Didn't you just reach the awakening realm half a year ago? True qi? Hearing Yu Yang's words, the other experts who were also scowling at Xing Hui also revealed shocked expressions. Not only has young Master Qing Su cultivated true qi, but when we were surrounded by the 5 true qi experts of the Black Dragon Guild, he even flew on his sword and killed his way into 2 of their battleships. He killed all of their 5-colored dragon kings and saved our lives, Qing Su said with a smile. Jingyan said in a deep voice, "Hiss! 5-colored dragon kings. The 5-colored dragon kings of the Black Dragon Guild are all true qi realm experts. He actually killed all 5 of them by himself. How is that possible? Didn't you hear that he flew on his sword?" It can be seen that he must have all kinds of divine weapons in his hands. But divine weapons have always been a part of his strength. Even if Cho Xing Hui relied on divine weapons to kill the 5 true qi realm experts, this kind of achievement is still comparable to most of the veteran true qi realm experts. This world had always been one where the strong reigned supreme. After learning that Qing Su was a true qi cultivator, the voices of these people had already quieted down. After learning from Jing Yun that Qing Su had actually killed 5 true qi cultivators of the Black Dragon Association with a single stroke of his sword, their gazes towards him had completely changed. They no longer treated him coldly like before. The old man glanced at the many experts around and whispered, "Let's leave here first and go to Miss Courtyard." Immediately the group quickly left. Although there were many true qi realm experts peeping at them on the way, their lineup was too strong. 4 true qi realm experts and 6 awakening realm experts, a total of 10 people. Ordinary true qi realm experts would not dare to act rashly if they were not confident. As for those spirit refining realm cultivators, they did not react at all because Xing Hui came in a hurry. Along the way, the group safely stepped into Nalan Fei's courtyard. There are really a lot of monsters and monsters. Long Xiao sighed. Along the way, he was really trembling with fear. Some of these people are Fairy Baiyu's subordinates, but most of them were attracted by Fairy Baiyu's bounty. After all, a Tier 4 divine weapon is too attractive to spirit-refining cultivators. If not for the fact that non-Hunyuan Heaven Sect Spirit Qi Unity cultivators would be given special treatment upon entering Hunyuan Heaven Sect's territory, even Spirit Qi Unity cultivators would not be able to resist taking action. The old man in the lead said, "Are there any experts?" Xing Hui asked. Of course there are experts. However, the ones that can be said to be the greatest threat to Miss and all of us are the 6 spirit refining realm experts. Tell me. The old man glanced at Xing Hui and said in a deep voice, "The 6 spirit refining realm experts are Music Sage Chao Zhendao, Flying Deity Bat Yi Shui Han, Sly Assassin Tuing, Mirror Immortal Wang Zhe, Poison Gentleman Tong Buping, and God Beheading Sword Sita Shui. Among these 6, Music Sage Chao Zhendao and Mirror Immortal Wang Zhe are Fairy Baiyu's direct subordinates. The other 4 were attracted by the rank 4 divine weapon. 6 spirit refining realm experts. Who would have thought that the battle between Nalan Fei and Fairy Baiyu would involve so many spirit refining realm experts? In fact, this is not all. Fairy Baiyu herself and 2 other spirit refining realm experts under her, Scarlet Flame Fairy Tsang Shui, and Dragon Monarch Zhang Jiuxiao. These 2 are the reason why Fairy Baiyu dares to fight Miss Nalan. Dragon Monarch Zhang Jiuxiao is a peak cultivator who has awakened the White Tiger's bloodline. Although he did not manage to condense holy grade aura qi, under constant polishing, his aura qi is at the peak of spirit grade. As for Scarlet Flame Fairy Tsang Shui, she is a famous cultivator who has been immersed in the spirit refining realm for many years. In the past few decades, the number of spirit refining cultivators who died in her hands is no less than 10. Countless fresh blood accumulated to form the name Scarlet Flame Fairy. Xinghui nodded. Thinking about it, after killing Scarlet Flame Fairy, Dragon Monarch, Mirror Immortal, and Music Sage, Baiyu would be like a tiger without its teeth. Even if she had more true qi experts under her, she would not be able to be arrogant anymore. If this still could not solve the problem once, and for all it was no wonder that he killed Fairy Baiyu. That is Chou Xinghui? Chou Xinghui, that troublemaker. Damn it, if not for him, our Zhou family would not have fallen to such a state. Not only do we have to be on guard against assassins, we don't even dare to step out of the door. Once we do, we will undoubtedly die. She'll lower your voice. I heard that Chou Xinghui obtained some kind of opportunity, and actually awakened his bloodline, and stepped into the immortal realm. If he hears you, you are finished. As Xinghui's group stepped into the courtyard, many Zhou family members of Cloud Desolate City sized him up, their gazes faintly carrying resentment, fear, and jealousy. However, Xinghui did not pay them any attention. He had no feelings for the Zhou family. If he had to talk about feelings, it was at most the karma owed by Chou Xinghui's body. Thus, other than Chou Xinghui's immediate family, he turned a blind eye to the gazes of others. Xinghui, at this moment, a pleasantly surprised shout was heard. Zhou Yinqing, who had reached the blood-changing stage, happily welcomed him. Xinghui nodded at her. Have you been alright all this time? Did Baiyu's subordinates find you? Miss Yinqing, Miss Nalan is waiting for Prince Xinghui. Please, an old man reminded her in a low voice. Oh, yes. Xinghui, let's go see Aunt Nalan. Zhou Yinqing impatiently pulled Xinghui into the inner courtyard. But just as they were about to step into the inner courtyard, an old man exuding a faint pressure stepped out of the courtyard and coldly stared at Xinghui. You are that Chou Xinghui who doesn't know what's good for him and dares to look down on even the Hunyuan heaven sect's true disciples? Chapter 79. Elder Nalan Sheng. Seeing this person, the old man in charge of leading the way hurriedly bowed respectfully. At the same time, he introduced for Xinghui. This is Nalan Sheng, an elder from the Nalan family like Miss Nalan. After speaking, he hurriedly introduced for Nalan Sheng. Elder Nalan, this is indeed Prince Xinghui. However, although Prince Xinghui is a little impulsive, his cultivation talent does allow him to disregard the ordinary true disciples of the Hunyuan heaven sect. At the very least, the so-called young master Long Quan is far from being comparable to Prince Xinghui. When Nalan Sheng heard what the old man had said, he immediately stared at Qing Su and studied him closely. When he saw that he actually possessed true qi, he was immediately shocked. Why? You've actually cultivated true qi. Weren't you just a mortal at the marrow cleansing stage 2 years ago? How could you cultivate to the second stage of the immortality stage in just 2 years? Prince Xinghui is extremely talented, otherwise Miss Nalan wouldn't value him so much. She even asked for a disciple token that can directly enter the inner sect of the Hunyuan heaven sect for him. Moreover, Prince Xinghui is not an ordinary true qi stage expert. Not long ago, Prince Xinghui fought the 5-colored Dragon King of the Black Dragon Gang alone, and wiped out the 5 true qi stage experts under Baiyu. The old man repeated what he had heard from Jing Yun. For a moment, Nalan Sheng's gaze suddenly fell on him, his eyes flashing. By launching, is what you said true? I secretly asked the other followers on the warship, and it's absolutely true. By launching lowered his head slightly. Nalan Sheng understood Bai Lanqing's character. He knew that he would not make empty promises. Immediately, his cold gaze changed drastically. In order to resolve the awkwardness from before, he forced out a laugh. Haha, young man. If you don't have any ability and only know how to rely on others, you'll only be seeking your own death if you act recklessly. However, if you're brimming with talent, you obviously shouldn't stick to one pattern and do what others can't. What's a single jasper worth? Others might be afraid of her, but my Nalan family isn't. Come, nephew Ching Su, follow me into the courtyard. Xing Hui looked at Nalan Sheng. He didn't expect a person's attitude to change so quickly, and he even acted as if it was a matter of course. Elder Nalan Sheng, Mrs. still waiting for Prince Xing Hui. Oh, I forgot about this matter. He just came back, so there are many things he doesn't understand. He really needs to see Feier. Nalan Sheng no longer insisted, instead turning to Xing Hui and saying in a forthright tone, Xing Hui, you can rest assured that with our Nalan family here, you won't be able to play any tricks. As for your Zhua family, you can also rest assured that the masters of my Nalan family will not let any harm come to them. Considering that the Nalan family had indeed contributed a lot in the past half a year, and Cho Xing Hui's body had given him a new lease of life, Xing Hui nodded slightly. Many thanks. No need to be polite. Our Nalan family and your Zhua family are so fated. Perhaps we were a family in our previous lives. Since we are family, there is no need to be so polite. As Nalan Sheng spoke, he waved his hand, and by launching immediately withdrew, leading Xing Hui and Zhuo Yinqing into the inner courtyard. When the group stepped into the inner courtyard, Nalan Sheng made Yu Yang and Jing Yun stay behind with a glance, and said solemnly, Tell me the specific details of how Xing Hui defeated the Black Dragon Gang's Pentashade Dragon King. Nalan Fei, there was a vague image of her in Cho Xing Hui's memories. In terms of appearance, neither Princess Lan Yu nor Wu Yuyao could compare to her, especially the lonely snowy lotus aura that she carried, giving people a kind of elegant and refined beauty. Looking at her, it seemed that there was a kind of magic that could cleanse the soul, completely brushing away all the dust on one's body, making one's heart calm and trust in her. That kind of aura. It made Xing Hui faintly think of a peak warrior in the world of earth that he once saw from afar. Holy Buddha Mi Jia. Auntie, Xing Hui is here, he's fine. Zhuo Yinqing saw the woman in white in the hall, who seemed to be unfazed even if the sky collapsed, and immediately went forward with joy. Xing Hui. Nalan Fei looked at Xing Hui. This was the first time she saw Xing Hui in person in several years. She looked at Xing Hui for a while, then smiled slightly. A few years ago, I saw you as a little brat who only knew how to follow behind Erishur Yudo. I didn't expect that in just a few years, you would become so elegant. You don't have to worry about Biyu's matter. I understand the cause and effect of the whole matter. Longquan didn't know what was good for him, and was killed by you, so he deserved it. Leave the rest to me. This matter started because of me. I can't turn a blind eye to it. Oh. Nalan Fei looked at Xing Hui, but seeing that he didn't seem to be pretending, she nodded. A man should be indomitable. I'm happy for you that you can take on this responsibility, and I'm also happy for my brother that he has a successor. Since you plan to do your part in this battle, then follow me for the next few months. When the time comes, you will have the chance to act. Xing Hui pondered for a moment, then nodded slightly. I won't ask you how you were able to cultivate to the realm of true qi. Everyone has their own opportunities, but the cultivation of the immortality realm can't blindly pursue the realm. You have to accumulate to the peak of your original realm before breaking through. Otherwise, when you reach a higher realm, you will lack the strength to continue, and it will become extremely difficult to break through again. The realm barrier is like a dam. If you only accumulate the water of a small stream, you won't be able to do anything. But if your accumulated strength is like a torrential river, or a tsunami, any dam barrier will be like a child's play in front of you. It will collapse at once. I understand, before reaching the limit of the realm, I won't easily break through to a higher realm. Xing Hui nodded. In fact, the reason why he could easily awaken a second time, and even refine his qi, was because his accumulation was too strong. He broke through his limits again and again, causing his qi and blood foundation to be many times higher than ordinary blood-changing and awakening realm cultivators. Because of this, he was able to have a battle prowess not weaker than ordinary spirit-refining realm cultivators. This matter has been stirred up to this point. It's time to end it. I want to ask if Biyu's death will bring you any trouble. Xinghui said. Nalan Fei chuckled. Although Biyu and I are direct disciples of the Sky Origin Peak Master, Biyu's potential has obviously been exhausted, and the spirit-refining realm is her limit. As for me, I have cultivated holy rank Aura Qi, and my future is limitless, with the hope of becoming the Peak Master's disciple. If Biyu dies, although the sect's higher-ups will punish me, these punishments are within the scope of what I can bear. Those palace masters and elders won't abandon me for a spirit-refining realm direct disciple who has exhausted her potential. Speaking till here, her tone slightly paused. Of course, Biyu's death can't be used against her. Otherwise, the palace masters and elders will have to punish her severely to uphold the sect's rules. I understand, Xinghui said. Since killing her won't bring too much trouble, I'll deal with Biyu. Hearing Xinghui's words, Nalan Fei shook her head. If I have enough reason to kill Biyu, I'll only receive some punishment. But you can't. You're not a direct disciple of the Hunyuan Heaven sect. In order to uphold the dignity of the sect's direct disciples, if you kill Biyu, the Hunyuan Heaven sect's law enforcement team will definitely take action. The law enforcement team is full of experts, and even I won't be able to fight against them. If I don't do it, someone else will. Hire someone else. This is a method, but once a spirit and qi unity realm expert enters the Hunyuan Heaven sect's territory, it will definitely raise the Hunyuan Heaven sect's vigilance. Ordinary spirit-refining realm experts may be able to defeat her, but they may not be able to kill her. Even if they can kill her, the Hunyuan Heaven sect will chase after them and make them a fugitive. Even if you offer a rank 4 divine weapon, no one will have the guts to accept the mission. Fugitive. Yan Huang was the master of the overseas colored glass island. Even if he was chased by the Hunyuan Heaven sect, as long as he hid overseas, the Hunyuan Heaven sect wouldn't be able to do anything. After all, apart from a few local cultivators, the majority of the overseas forces were forced to leave their homes and flee overseas due to the pressure of the 10 great sections. These cultivators were extremely hostile to the 10 great sections. How many of them were weak to be able to flee overseas under the pursuit of the 10 great sects? Unless the Hunyuan Heaven sect sent a grand elder or a hall master to hunt down Yan Huang, who had fled to Colored Glass Island, ordinary elders would die no matter how many of them they sent. The overlords of the overseas forces would definitely not be soft-hearted when killing the disciples of the 10 great sections. There are still 4 months until the 1-year deadline set by the Sky Origin Peak Master. At that time, no matter how unwilling Biyu is, she won't dare to pursue you on the surface. If she dares to secretly make a move, I will have enough reason to kill her on the spot. Therefore, you don't have to worry too much about this matter. Just focus on your cultivation. Nalan Fei looked at Xinghui with praise in her eyes. I was a little disappointed when I heard that Erishur Yudo had cheated you of your disciple token, but I didn't expect that woman's matter to become the motivation for you to work harder. In addition, you're quite lucky to have obtained a high-quality saint technique, so you've achieved so much in just over a year. I have to thank that woman, Erishur Yudo. Erishur Yudo. At the mention of this name, Xinghui furrowed his brows slightly. It wasn't that he had any thoughts about Erishur Yudo in his heart, but Cho Xinghui's body still had the painful memories of what she had done to him. In addition, Yuan Yang had followed Erishur Yudo's orders to assassinate him. I have to settle this matter between her and me. Originally, I wanted to get rid of her while she was still an inner disciple, but when Lan Yu sent me a message saying that you've already reached the awakened realm and have astonishing battle strength, I left her behind and planned to let you deal with her personally. But you have to be quick. She awakened 4 months ago and became a true disciple. Moreover, this woman is very good at making friends with both sides. Relying on her identity and appearance as Elder Juri's disciple, She has already become friends with many true disciples. Don't let her make a name for herself when the time comes. I understand. Chapter 80. Xing Hui and Erisher Yudo chatted for a while before leaving. Zhuo Yunqing dragged him to the Zhuo family's courtyard. At this time, the Zhuo family members were under protection, and their living quarters were not large. The Zhuo family members, who usually lived like princes, often shared a room with 2 or 3 people. As a result, even the large courtyards were filled to the brim. Under such circumstances, Xing Hui's entry into the Zhuo family's courtyard was immediately noticed by the Zhuo family members. It's him. Cho Xing Hui, he still has the face to come back. Don't speak nonsense. Why can't I speak? If it wasn't for him, our Zhuo family wouldn't have fallen to such a state. We wouldn't have to live in fear all the time. Shut up. Cho Xing Hui has already broken through to the awakening realm. Do you think it's still the same as before? Moreover, Miss Nalan doesn't care much about the rest of the Zhuo family, even if she wants to protect Zhuo Shiri's bloodline. If you anger Cho Xing Hui, even if he kills us, Miss Nalan won't say a word. The news of him breaking through to the awakening realm is true. How can it be false? Let's go, don't be an eyesore here. As Xing Hui walked through the courtyard, his powerful hearing allowed him to hear the Zhuo family's discussion clearly. However, just like how Nalan Fei only cared about Zhuo Shiri's bloodline, Xing Hui did not care about the rest of the Zhuo family. Under Zhuo Yunqing's lead, they went straight to the residence of the patriarch, his father Zhuo Shiri. However, just as the 2 of them stepped into Zhuo Shiri's courtyard, 4 people turned the corner and walked out of the courtyard. Of these 4 people, 2 were old and 2 were young. The 2 older ones were the Zhuo family's founding elders, Zhuo Fengxiao and Zhuo Xingyun. The 2 younger ones were Zhuo Fengyan and Zhuo Xiangdong, who had a fierce conflict with Xing Hui, and almost caused Xing Hui to be expelled from the Zhuo family. Upon seeing Xing Hui and Yun Qing, Zhuo Fengxiao, Zhuo Xingyun, Zhuo Fengyan, Zhuo Xiangdong, and the others were stunned for a moment before their expressions turned awkward. Yun Qing, and Xing Hui. Zhuo Fengxiao and Zhuo Xingyun forced a smile on their faces as they greeted. Are you here to look for the patriarch? Xing Hui ignored the 2 and looked at Zhuo Fengyan and Zhuo Xiangdong. Although the 2 of them did not know that Xing Hui had reached the 2nd level of the immortality stage, they knew that he had awakened his bloodline. They also knew that he had killed the president of the Demon Hunters Union, many experts from the 3rd Prince's residence, and even young Master Long Quan. Now that Xing Hui looked at them, the 2 of them thought that Xing Hui wanted to settle the score. They were so scared that their legs turned to jelly, and they immediately knelt down. Prince Xing Hui, we were wrong. Please forgive us this time. Cousin Xing Hui, we may have offended you in the past, but we were just playing around when we were young. Please forgive us, cousin Xing Hui. Xing Hui glanced at Zhuo Fengyan and Zhuo Xiangdong, then at the frightened and reverent Zhuo Fengxiao and Zhuo Xingyun. He said to Zhuo Yunqing, are these 2 still the Zhuo family's founding members? Zhuo Yunqing did not know why Xing Hui asked this question. No wonder the Zhuo family has been unable to make a name for themselves for so many years. How can the entire family be united if these murderers can hold high positions in the family? Fortunately, I have already been expelled from the Zhuo family. Otherwise, the Zhuo family would have declined sooner or later even with Auntie Nalan's support. Xing Hui's words caused Zhuo Fengxiao and Zhuo Xingyun's expressions to change drastically. At this time, 2 other founding members, Zhuo Xiaoza and Zhuo Feilong, walked out. When they heard Xing Hui's words, Zhuo Xiaoza hurriedly said, Xing Hui, don't joke around. Although there are rumors that you have been expelled from the Zhuo family, this is only a joke. No one has the right to question the fact that you are a member of the Zhuo family. If you don't believe me, you can go and take a look. Your name is still clearly written in the Zhuo family's genealogy. Yes. Zhuo Feilong quickly agreed. Xiaoza is right. Your father is the patriarch of the Zhuo family, and you are the only son of the patriarch. Not only are you a member of the Zhuo family, but you will also be the future successor of the patriarch. You will lead the Zhuo family to prosperity. Who would have the guts to expel you? Wouldn't that be dividing the Zhou family? As he spoke, he was still quite nervous. As early as when Xinghui had reached the awakening realm, the entire Zhou family had held several meetings about him. Although the Zhou family had some influence in the 100 Desolation City, it was only a second-rate family. It could not be compared to the Jin family, Feng family, or Fang family. It was precisely because of Nalan Fei's existence that the Zhou family had risen to the top. Not only had they become one of the top families in the 100 Desolation City, but they also had abundant resources, causing the number of powerhouses in the family to increase exponentially. However, Nalan Fei was only the adopted daughter of the Zhou family's patriarch. How could she compare to Xinghui? Now that the patriarch's son, Chou Xinghui, had stepped into the immortal realm, the Zhou family's hope of soaring to the top was right in front of them. The Zhou family had to grasp this opportunity no matter what. This was the unanimous decision of the entire Zhou family after a discussion. Thinking of how important Xinghui was to the Zhou family, Zhou Feilong could not care about anything else. He hurriedly said, "Xiaoza, I think what Xinghui said just now makes sense. Our Zhou family should really clean up the atmosphere. Those who have no ability but still sit in their positions should be expelled from the core circle of the Zhou family. This matter should not be delayed. Let's hold a meeting immediately." Founding Elder Feilong is correct. The Zhou family is no longer the small family it once was. It really does need to be cleaned up. Zhou Xiaoza understood what Zhou Feilong meant. He hurriedly nodded in agreement. After saying that, he turned to Xinghui and said, "Xinghui, you are the son of the patriarch of the Zhou family and the future successor of the patriarch. In the future, the entire Zhou family will be handed to you at the helm. Come and listen to this meeting and give us some suggestions." Xinghui originally did not want to have too much to do with the Zhou family. However, when he saw the joy in Zhou Yunqing's eyes and thought about the fact that his body came from Zhou Shiri's son, Chou Xinghui, after a moment of silence he finally said, "Let Yunqing listen. Her cultivation has already reached the blood transformation realm. She can be considered the strongest person in our Zhou family. She has the qualifications. Just tell me the final result of the meeting." Zhou Xiaoza and Zhou Feilong knew that they had to take things one step at a time. They nodded and said, "Very well. As Xinghui said, we will go and inform the other founding elders." After saying that, the two of them glanced at the pale-faced Zhou Xingyun and Zhou Fengxiao. "I won't inform the rest of you. Make sure you don't miss out on the meeting." Zhou Fengxiao and Zhou Xingyun exchanged glances. Their faces were gloomy. They understood that after the meeting, the days when they could act as they pleased with their status as founding elders of the Zhou family would never return. When they thought about how all of this had happened because of Zhou Fengyin and Zhou Xiangdong, the two of them were furious. They grabbed the two of them and beat them viciously. As members of the Zhou family, instead of working together, you bully your fellow clansmen. I'll beat the two of you to death." For a moment, Zhou Fengyin and Zhou Xiangdong screamed in agony. Zhou Xiaoza and Zhou Feilong turned a blind eye to this scene and left. Xinghui ignored the four of them and entered the courtyard with Zhou Yunqing. With the arrival of Nalan Fei, Zhou Shiri's life as the Zhou family patriarch had become much more relaxed. Even in the face of a powerful enemy, his residence was still heavily guarded. There was even an old man in the True Qi realm who had been ordered to protect Zhou Shiri. When he saw Xinghui arrive, the old man sized him up with a trace of surprise. Could you be Prince Xinghui? Didn't the rumors say that Prince Xinghui was only in the awakening realm? Why, that's news from almost a year ago." "Naturally, I've made some progress in the past year." Xinghui nodded to the old man and entered the hall. Zhou Shiri seemed to have heard Xinghui's voice and walked out of the hall. When he saw Xinghui and Zhou Yunqing, a trace of excitement flashed in his eyes. After a while he sighed and said, "Xinghui, you've suffered." Xinghui looked at Chou Xinghui. He naturally understood that Chou Xinghui loved his only son very much. Otherwise, he wouldn't have resisted the pressure of the entire family and secretly told him to hurry to the Hunyuan heaven sect to seek refuge with Nalan Fei. However, his personality was clearly a little weak. Or rather, it could be said that he was overcautious and narrow-minded. As a patriarch, there were many things he couldn't make decisions on. Father, big brother is back. He's already an immortality realm expert. With him around, you won't have to work so hard in the future, Zhuo Yinqing said happily. Xing Hui nodded and looked at Zhuo Shiri. In fact, Zhuo Shiri couldn't be blamed for not being the patriarch. His bloodline was originally rather weak. Before he received the pills from Nailan Fei, the strongest person he had was only in the marrow-cleansing realm. Naturally, he couldn't compare to the other bloodlines that had viscera-refining experts. If it weren't for the fact that the other Zhuo family members wanted to curry favor with Nailan Fei, he wouldn't have been the patriarch. Due to his family background and various other reasons, he didn't have the boldness a patriarch should have. He was even almost forced by the grand elders to expel his only son from the family. Shaking his head, Xing Hui also felt that Cho Xing Hui's father was rather pitiful. It was easy to imagine how sullen his father must have felt when he was forced to make such a decision by the many grand elders. He no longer pursued the matter and directly said, "During my time away from home, I've come to understand something. In this world, the strong are respected. Take the Zhuo family as an example. If you want to manage the Zhuo family well, you must first have the power to convince everyone. In the past, your power came from Nailan Fei, but she was far away in the Hunyuan heaven sect. It would take more than a month for her to travel back and forth. In addition, you didn't want to trouble her with such trivial matters. This allowed the Zhuo family grand elders to see that you were weak and easily bullied. But now, Xing Hui's straightforward words made Zhuo Shiri secretly feel guilty. When he heard this, his eyes immediately lit up. Xing Hui, are you willing to help me? No. Why don't I pass the position to you and make you the patriarch of the Zhuo family? I believe the others won't object. The patriarch of the Zhuo family? Xing Hui shook his head. There's no need. In fact, if you want to have absolute authority in the Zhuo family, it's very simple. You only need to. He extended his right hand and clenched his fist. Have the strength. Have the strength to suppress everyone from the other bloodlines. When the time comes, the entire Zhuo family will naturally follow your orders as the patriarch. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.